is where the fun begins.
Hello there. How's it going?
Hey, everyone. Hybrid Toy Reviews here with Talking Toys with the Boys. As always, we have 212 Hunter here.
Yes, sir.
And we are joined by the one, the only, Michael Havens.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. For those that don't know Michael somehow, and I mean, how could you not if you've been around for a bit? Michael runs the best Comic-Con I've ever been to.
Oh, shoot. Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
They, I know the other night you were on Monday Night Figure Ball. They're friends of ours.
Yeah.
They had mentioned something because I was in the comments talking it up, and I seem to end up at some Comic-Con somewhere in the world once a month, be it a Fan Expo or a Galaxy Con. I see someone that I need to go get an autograph from, and I'll go to Chicago or wherever I got to go. And it just needs to be said right off rip, you run the best organized, cleanest, most family-friendly. It is a great time every time. Usually I come home and I got my autograph, so we'll call it a win, but it's always a good time. So
I really appreciate that. Whenever I hear it from people that go to a lot of cons, it really means a ton, man.
Right. I'm all over. And I mean, you might get the crazy big names, but it's just a better time.
Well, that'll come. We're still growing. You got to figure San Diego Comic-Con took 15 years before it got Mark Hamill. So
True.
Yeah.
So we'll get there in time.
Oh, yeah.
Is he in the cards? Is that a long-term goal?
I don't know. You want the honest answer? Here's the honest answer. He wants $1.5 million, and I don't understand how a human being could sign that many autographs on a weekend. And I'd rather not just give him like $700,000 for free out of my pocket.
You know what? I don't.
So if it gets to the point where we got 60,000 people through the door, I'd probably give it a shot. You know what I mean? We're not a mega con yet, but we're coming.
That's all right. So we gotta reach for the stars.
Yeah.
So, but no, I just wanted to start with that, and real quick before we get super into it, because I did see they were in the chat. I just want to real quick plug someone.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
So there is a new podcast on the block, y'all. Now that we got a few people here in the chat, and they are called the Cosmic Cantina. I'm gonna pull up their YouTube page here, and I'm actually gonna throw a link in the comments below. So these guys, Blaine and Tamar, are super cool, super friendly guys, and they have just started a new show talking about whatever they want to talk about. This week they talked about DC and the upcoming James Gunn verse, which everyone's talking about. I mean, everyone's excited. There's a lot of cool stuff coming, and they're going to be talking Star Wars and Marvel and anything they want. And their first episode was just really, really good. And I've been talking to them on Instagram, and I just wanted to give them a quick plug and just spread the good word. So there, I threw
the Cosmic Cantina. There you go.
So they're really cool. Yep, they're really, really cool guys, really nice guys.
There you go. Subscribed.
Gotta subscribe, right?
So we'll find out about them. How's that?
Yep. I was talking, Blaine said that like he's seen a lot of like our circles, like ICCC vlogs, and so he's aware of the con. They're debating, they're working out the logistics of coming themselves. So I was like, this is appropriate. We gotta talk about it. But it's a great show, and it's a fun listen. So, and they're just really cool, genuine guys. So
I'll give it a try. Everybody else listening right now, grab that, because I'm giving it a try. So why not?
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's that's the fun. That's probably my favorite thing with ICCC, with our little group of guys, is we are a bunch of my whole social circle is like a bunch of kind of smaller YouTube channels that we've all just kind of met and collaborated, and somehow it worked out that everyone wanted to go to ICCC. You've kind of placed it at like the center of where everyone lives, to where like everyone has to drive 10 hours, but we're all 20 hours apart. So it's kind of like the hub.
I only have to drive 15 minutes, but yeah, Nashville's dead in the middle of everywhere.
Right. I mean, we've got people from Oklahoma, Florida, Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin.
Yeah, I'm up in Wisconsin, so.
And just somehow you put a dot in the middle of everything, and it's right about where you're at. So.
You want to know a huge part why I really like it? Because I don't have to drive through Chicago. That's the nicest part about it.
Fair enough.
Somebody living in Wisconsin, I don't have to drive through Chicago to get there.
Right. We got Stone Mando here saying this is going to be his first ICCC.
Awesome, brother. You're going to love it.
So, but I think everyone that goes is going to have a good time. But
thanks, man. Yeah, it's just, man, it's a 3-day sleepover for a bunch of nerds. That's all it is. It's not really, you've been to a lot of cons. I don't know if it fits in the con terminology. I mean, yeah, we have guest stars. Yeah, we have collectibles and stuff, but even the collectibles, like, I'm so kind of strict. Like, you see a lot of like expensive vintage or rare items, or, and most conventions, Comic-Cons at least, you go and you'll see, I don't know, 1 or 2 vintage figures, not like tables covered in carded ones. You know what I mean? It's and that's just because I'm obnoxious and I turn people down all the time with soap and gutter guards and T-Mobile, because I think it ruins the magic, man. You don't want to be going through there being like, I'm in a galaxy far, far away. Let's talk about our car insurance. You know what I mean? It's like, so I try to keep that stuff out of there.
Something you'd mentioned, because you were on last year with us and then with a bunch of our friends plugging for last year. And something that you mentioned on a lot of the streams is that you don't let the fudge booths come in.
Yes.
And it's become an inside joke. We'll be, I'll be at a different con, with some friends, and we'll be walking around. I'll see one. I'll be like, Michael would never let that BS happen at his con.
Yeah.
Point them out.
If it's going to be a weird soap booth, they better be shaped like Darth Vader.
Hey, I'm all right with nerd soap. That's good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's Star Wars soap, I'm down. I'll grab a couple bars.
Yeah.
To build off of that, I was gonna say too, like ICC for me, 2023 it would have been, was like my second con I ever went to, and I'm not gonna lie, it kind of spoiled me, because from that point on, I went around with this guy traveling from anywhere. I mean, I've gone to the one in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, all the way to DC and Awesome Con, and everywhere in between, Motor City Con and everything, and just trying to replicate that experience. But
my dog's being bad.
You're good. Well, whatever con we've been to, even if it's somebody I really want to see, it still has never been the same experience that ICC was. And like, even going to a big con, like, it's cool. You get to see somebody like, I don't know, I went to see Rosario Dawson or something, but then you go to the vendors and there ain't nothing to look at. And you went all the way there, stood in line just to get an autograph. And then it's like, okay, I guess we leave. And that's my favorite part about ICC too, is just everything. It's just, you can be there for more than just 8 hours. And it's like, I want to get out of here,
Yeah.
It's like, you can be there for multiple days, and it's just, it's like multiple years going on now. It's, I just want to keep coming back more than anything.
Yeah, there's always something else to see. And the wonderful thing is now the different groups of like people, like you said, you meet all your friends there and stuff like that. The different meetups that people have on their own are so cool, man. There's like 20, 30 of them. And they're like, is it okay if I do? And I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? And it's really neat. And the room sales at night, and it's really like this mecca where everybody just plays toys for 3 days. It's really cool, man. And that's what I've been going for. It's not the best idea if you're trying to make a business for money or anything, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to make a place, because, man, some of my favorite times was when I was younger, and I'd go over a friend's house and we'd have a sleepover and we'd watch like all 3 Star Wars movies and eat junk food and play toys, and you know what I mean? And that's essentially what this is. And that's what I'm trying to create. So it's really, really fun that more and more people are coming there and doing their own meetups and their own, family reunions of their own little families of Star Wars families or sci-fi families. And I don't know, man. It's just, it's really nice. I really enjoy it. And I love seeing everybody's smiling faces. But yeah, it's totally different. I don't think I've ever been to another con that has like room sales all night long, ever.
No. So,
and I know one. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just want to show real quick because I have it pulled up. But I mean, you're talking. I mean, our tradition every year is we have to track down whatever the 501st is brought in and get our.
Oh yeah.
Photo. And yeah, and like I said, I mean, these are people from all over the U.S. that are just coming to hang out, and so hopefully there's going to be something cool with the 501st this year.
Yeah, of course. We have the 501st coming. We have the Defenders Detachment coming. The Rebel Legion is coming, and Fen Rao, which is a offshoot of the Bando Mercs kind of deal.
Yeah.
They're the ones with that tank. They'll be there. There's other people with props and displays. I'm actually working on a couple different ones, like a Ninja Turtle van, and there's always the star cars where you see like the G.I. Joe. Shoot, I forgot what it is. And yeah, but we like that stuff, man. That helps with the immersive experience. You know, I want to keep out the thought of you're in, I don't know, America in 2025. You're in a galaxy far, far away, or you're in like wherever G.I. Joe took place. You know what I mean? Which I guess is America, but you know what I mean?
Stone Mando hit it right on the head. It's a nerd paradise.
Yeah, it totally is. Yep.
No, we, I mean, our thing every year is our group always just gets an Airbnb somewhere right close. And the TV is always playing some movie, and they're cooking out on the grill, and it's just our big hangout, and it's just a great time. And we spend all day at the con. And this last year we finally explored Nashville a little bit. We never did before, but last year we got out and about. It's
pretty crazy, man, because it's such a tourist town. It's like there's like something like 1,000 bars or something downtown. It's bonkers.
Right. Yeah, we made it a point. We wanted to hit all the local comic collector, places that places that serve our kind. So
that was really fun too, actually.
Oh yeah,
traveling around to all the other stores that were in the area. That was really cool.
Yeah. It was a great time, and I mean, just you don't have to just I mean, of course, go to ICCC if you're going to Nashville.
Oh yeah,
but there's a whole city to explore. You can make a week of it if you want.
Oh yeah, it makes it an easy sell for significant others that have no idea what a Star Wars toy is.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I want to go to a Star Wars convention, and immediately their heart falls into their into the toilet, and they're like, and then they're like, it's in Nashville, and they're always like, yeah. Now we got like a whole spa and everything on site because this is like we're like a real boy with this hotel because it's got a convention center and everything. Like it's legit.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm psyched.
Yeah, that was something I was going to ask about. I mean, I know there's been the last couple of years has been shaky. We had the fairground and the farmer ruined that, and then the I'm blanking on the hotel name, but they got. I picked up it felt and it don't matter now, but it felt like the hotel last year got kind of stingy as an outsider looking in. Like
they kind of did, didn't they? Well, no, they came back to me and they wanted $19,000 more than it was the previous year.
Right. Because I thought I had seen somewhere that it was like a free parking thing. I remember, or maybe
no, free parking was down the bottom. We had a shuttle.
Okay.
You had to go to where the shuttle picked you up.
Right, because on the first day, you could just park in the lot, or maybe we just got there before they were out there, but then they were out,
That's probably what it was.
Yeah, you probably just got in there the first day before they even got out there. But no, parking was for hotel guests only, and then we had the entire parking lot down the bottom, and we had the Sprinter vans, the 2 Sprinter vans running all day. So it was like when you go to the airport.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
So, but no, it was. I mean, that threw a little bit, but it makes sense, and we ended up just going down there.
Yeah.
But, no, they're. I mean, it just felt. I don't know. It didn't feel as welcoming, near the end.
Oh man, I'm telling you, it was the same. Well, when they came back to me and they sent me the quote, it was 19 grand more, and we've done it so many times, and I don't understand why, because the place is a ghost town usually. You know what I mean? Like you go there this weekend, there's nobody there. They're not doing anything. It's really weird. And they take in some shows that are like, I don't know. There was one where they were like Star Wars art show. So I checked it out. You know what I mean? But it was like one of those traveling art shows where they have like really crappy like art in a, event room, and you go and it's like $300 and it's like the worst painting you've ever seen, you know what I mean? Just like junky. Somebody knocked it out like yesterday, and I don't understand why they cater to stuff like that. But then I don't know. But they didn't have a problem with us. The that darn fairgrounds. But the fairgrounds, it's better because it was too big and too spread out. It was too far. But that parking lot guy, man, and you know what was funny is I got a PM on Facebook like probably 5 days ago, and it was somebody from over there that said, "Listen to this, because you guys know this con. It's like the most family-friendly con in the history of the world." Yeah. And it was like, "We don't like your sexualizing Wilson County, so I'm glad they didn't let you come back." And I was like, "They didn't. It wasn't that they didn't let me come back. They were just moving my helicopter into my paid parking lot." You know what I mean? Like, it was counterintuitive. But the lady who runs the venue loves us, but there's nowhere to park. But it also doesn't matter. Now we have it's sick, man. It's like, so
three times the vendor booths?
Yeah, 3 times the vendor booths, tons more room. We're gonna have more room in the panel room, because for the big panels and stuff, a lot of people were starting to get shut out. It's just a matter of space. And then we also have more room for VIP room and more room for the tattoos. And with the whole hotel, there's way more hotel rooms because they're sold out. But there's overflow hotels on the website if you're looking. But if you remember, like last year, I sold out of that hotel in, I think it was like 72 hours.
Yeah, it wasn't long.
Right. So we didn't have enough rooms there. We didn't have enough space there. So now it's really nice. And this hotel, the wonderful thing about it is instead of it being way up on a hill where you've got to Uber or drive everywhere, it's right in the middle of like a brand new growing kind of city that there's like Chili's and Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts and like 5 like nice food bars, like brick oven pizza or whatever. And it's all walkable now. You know what I mean? So honestly, even if you wanted to park, there's even a mall like a building down. So parking is free at the hotel. If you stay overnight, they do charge you $12 a night, but that's part of the hotel room thingy or whatever. And you can also park. There's a million different like malls and hotels and just outside parking lots. You know what I mean? Because it's in a place instead of on a hill in the middle of nowhere. Right. So it's really cool. I'm super psyched.
No, it was like a culture shock because our first one was the fairground one.
Oh, all right.
And so we went, and it was that great big building full of booths, and in memory, I want to say it was like 1 million booths, but of course, however many there were.
Oh yeah, no, it looks nuts.
Right, and so then last year we went, and I was like, this, the initial thought was it's a bit smaller.
Oh yeah, a lot smaller.
There was some good stuff, but
that's where we did it 2 years before the fairgrounds. We grew out of that place and went to the fairgrounds. After the fairgrounds did their thing, it was the only place I could find to book that quickly.
Right.
So yeah, it was like, but I want to throw a con every single year, no matter what. You know what I mean? So this one, it is a much bigger venue. It's going to be more like the fairgrounds. Actually, it has a bigger vendor room than the fairgrounds. So the fairgrounds, yeah, it's 292 acres or whatever. But I mean, don't forget, I had a historic town in there and a train museum and a demolition derby and a helicopter rides. It was bonkers big. I remember I was getting changed for the helicopter dude at one point, and it was a 10-minute drive on the golf cart each way. And that just like eat your day, man. It was so spread out. It was really nice, though. I mean, it was a pretty place. And eventually that guy will retire or whatever, and maybe we'll think about it again. But this place, man, it's like, I don't know, for running a convention for so long at places that are not ideal for conventions, it's so much easier. Like these people have a mapping program where I just like click things and they fit in the exact size, and like it's nice. Every other time I'm like out there with a wheel measuring how big the room is because they don't know,
Right.
So
you got the upgrade that you were really looking for.
Yeah.
I think when we looked in photo. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
And it just sucks when you're at max capacity for a building, and
yeah.
really so It's
but that will not happen this year.
I'm excited.
So that's exciting. Yeah, dude, think of how bad it sucks because see, we don't really make money off this. We try to keep it as cheap as possible for everybody. So even the volunteers and the staff and everything, they're paying their own plane tickets still. There's not enough money in it. So imagine how much of a gut shot it is when you have to turn off ticket sales out front because there's just so many freaking people in the building.
Right.
But there's still people that want to come in, and that's still money which could help pay for my people's plane tickets or food or whatever. But I mean, we're still doing it the old school way, man. But that way it also, if you notice, you must notice, because you go to a lot of cons. Anybody who comes to our con tends to be cheaper by a lot than they are anywhere else for their autographs. The reason why is because unlike every other convention, we don't slap on a $30 fee for the convention. We don't take a rake because I personally don't want to take money from the collectors. I want you guys to have more money to collect stuff. So we don't add on all those little tiny, you go to a big corporate con, and I mean, the soda doesn't cost $12. It's the same Coca-Cola you're going to get at ICCC. The reason why ours is cheaper is because I don't make you pay me $4 to drink a Coke.
Heck yeah.
So, but it also makes it tough. So yes, believe me, when we got to shut off ticket sales out front, I'm like, oh my God, why? They're sitting right there, The ability to possibly break even is sitting right there in front of me, and I can't let them in the building.
I will say, for what it's worth, I also appreciate that you're the con that does that, because there are cons I go to that don't care how full it is. They keep selling tickets. I'm
a big guy, and also I don't want it to ever get shut down, man. I feel terrible.
Right. There's
there's
a local con down in Pittsburgh, Steel City Con, and the fire marshal walking everyone out is a recurring thing there, because they just keep selling. And it's like an old Kmart or something that's been converted into a venue. And they want to get 50 guests, and they want to do 5 reunions from 10 popular, or 5 reunions, 10 actors each from popular, Dexter and The Office, and so they draw these big crowds, and everyone gets in this building shoulder to shoulder to where you're trampling each other. And they're still at the door selling tickets. And then they start, you hear the alarms go off, and fire marshals order the evacuation. Then they count when you're coming back in, and once they hit that number, they don't let anyone in. And then they're begging over the intercom, hey, don't forget, there's people outside that would like to come in. Why don't you, if you're just hanging out, why don't you give someone else a turn? And I'm like,
so what happens to all those people that already have tickets? They have to stand in line outside?
Yeah, that's what they do. They wait outside.
That's terrible, man. Yes, I promise I will never do that.
Right, that is corporate greed to the core. And
I'm like a legit nerd here. I would never do that to people.
No, I was gonna say before. No, I think you've done an incredible job. Like ICC is for like the collectors. Like when we go to like, I don't know, Fan Expo Chicago or something. You talk about not tacking on like an extra cost for an autograph. I feel like most people that are going to get autographs at ICCCon are collectors, because it's a con centered around collectors, where like when we go to like a big con, you'll have a guy with a red wagon that's getting like 30 signatures, and he's gonna put them up on eBay.
Well, see, the thing is those big corporate ones, they always have a deal with Funko and Topps. So those poor guest stars are hiding in a back room, signing 1,000 autographs before they come out to you dead tired.
Yeah.
That's why they're exhausted half the time when you're there, is because they just signed 2,000 autographs in the back room.
Right.
But I don't have those connections, so I don't do that. It's not like Topps is like hiding in my back room. I don't know the guy that owns Topps. But the thing is all those conventions that you're mentioning, I don't know if you know this, but they're literally all owned by a company called Informa.
Yeah.
It's been around since like 1812 and makes $13.5 billion a year. I'm just some dude in my house in Tennessee that collects toys.
Fan Expo, GalaxyCon, and MegaCon all have the exact same website layout, so different colors, and they think that we don't know this these things.
Yeah.
And
Search it someday. Look up Informa and look up all the conventions Informa owns, and you'll be like, "Holy crap, Mike!" Because it's like there's like a handful of mom and pop conventions left in this world. It's crazy.
Right, and they get all these actors on, and they get them to sign these do not compete clauses to where certain people can't go to ICCC because I'm only allowed to go to MegaCon this year.
I'll tell you, brother. There's one, and he's a very popular Star Wars star, and I'd love to have him. But he is $400,000 for me, but he does 23 of their shows for $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to get cream. There's no way he can hit that number. He's not allowed to personalize autographs. He's not allowed to do a panel, and he has to sign in a cave, like where they put up the pipe and drape so you can't see him.
Yeah.
But only for me. But if you do the math, yeah, sure, $1 million sounds great, but that's 23 conventions divided by $1 million. That's what his real price is.
That's doable.
Right.
My price is $400,000 because I don't have, you know what I mean? I have connections and stuff, but honestly, man, if you're not connected with Funko or Topps or Lucasfilm and that's the thing, we are no corporations, just the actual fans. So it's tougher to get the big time guest stars, the Mark Hamills and the blah, blah, blahs but man, it's also, do you want those kind? I mean, not picking on them. It's really cool to get the autograph. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want someone to have to pay $750 for someone to push them through their line that doesn't even talk to them, just writes a scribble, and it's like 3 seconds of your life for $750. I mean,
that's how it was when I met Hayden Christensen at AwesomeCon in Washington, D.C. And it didn't feel like it was him so much because he had like this like team of handlers that were like pushing. And I'm just
one grabs the photo, one pushes it in front of him, one grabs the photo from him, and one kicks you out.
Right. And I just had this little gift I wanted to give him, and they let him. He made them let me.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll give it to Hayden because I couldn't decide if I wanted an Anakin or a Vader autograph. So at $300 a pop, I bought two.
Yeah.
And then the photo op was $200, and by the time that you hit all the credit card fees and stuff, the fee for the privilege of pre-purchasing.
That's the other thing, the fees and this stuff. Like, you don't walk up to the autograph booth and like you walk up to the person. It's not like you're walking up to the autograph booth and it's like a $19.99 service charge on every autograph. We don't do that.
Right. I'm getting killed. I'm going to Fan Expo Cleveland in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And as far as Fan Expo goes, it's one of the better ones, and I like it. It's half hour down the road. But every one of these $50 autographs is turning into 75 pretty quick by the time I pre-purchase them.
Yep.
And,
I think we're one of the only conventions left where you walk for $50 autograph with a $50 bill, and you will get the autograph in return.
Yeah. No, and the other thing I'm finding a lot of them are doing is weird. Is they're doing this ticket system with some of them now. The first one I saw was Freddie Prinze Jr. at Motor City Con, where it was you couldn't get in the line and give him $50, and you couldn't swipe a card in his line. You had to go to the photo op booth and give them the money, so then they could give you a QR code for his handler to scan. And he was like the only one at that con like that. I'm like, why?
The reason why is because they're starting to have photo op companies bring in the guest stars and handle the autograph room.
Fair.
So the photo op company has to track them funds.
Yeah, you think that you could still just give, because they still have a handler there, you think you could still just give them the cash and then have them give it to the photo op? But it's like, it was just a weird hoop, It was like,
oh, dude, I hear you. The whole reason why I started this convention is because I was sitting in the back room at a big corporate con. You guys know the one. I still go to it. But I had a $750 badge around my neck, $750 badge around my wife's neck, and I was sitting in lines for hours behind people that were like, not even press, but like all different kinds of badges that didn't say VIP, but for some reason get to go in front of me. Yeah. And then I stood in line for 3 hours for the con store. And then I was eating a $35 plate of orange chicken I wouldn't give my worst enemy and a $9 Coke. And I was just so ticked off, man. And I was like, we can do this better. We can do it for the fans. Because those conventions are not for the fans. They are for the machine. You know what I mean? They are for the companies, the corporations, the people who are the big time agents for those guest stars that want as much money as they can get because they only get 10% of it. You know what I mean? Like, that's what those cons are set for. And they are wonderful, man. And I've been saying this now because I really thought about it. I go, I'm not trying to down talk them because even I go to Walmart. Sometimes you got to go to Walmart.
Right.
And I get that. But you know what? Sometimes you should go to the mom and pop shop and get an awesome meal with like a delicious piece of pie at the end where you get free refills on your Coke. You know what I mean? Like,
Great.
so
It's the American dream.
that's what I'm trying to do.
No,
But yeah, honestly, dude, it's all built out of me going to cons and just like, yes, I'm a big dude, man. I am 6'8". I hate it when cons are overpacked. That's why you don't see it. That's why I'll shut down tickets instead of just jacking it full of people.
Mhm.
You know?
You just know you understand the benefit of walking room.
Yeah, man. Why can't you turn around and look at something again? God forbid you go down an aisle at one of those corporate cons and you see something there and you don't stop and do it right there. You're going to have to walk down that aisle like it's a one-way street, come around the next, come back up like you're driving around New York City, come back down that aisle and hope you can get to that side, to that table to see the thing again.
Yep.
It's 30 minutes of your day because you want to buy an XYZ from a random vendor.
We, my friend Tommy at Blitz Transmissions, you were on with him a week ago.
He's a nice dude, man. Yeah.
We did GalaxyCon Columbus back in December, and we met Sam Witwer together, and then I met Gina Carano on my own. And
nice.
We got in. Sam's line you weren't even allowed to get in it till like noon, and so he wasn't going to be there. And so I went and met Gina Carano between 11 and noon. We got in the door at like 11, and so they had like 45 minutes to walk around, and we got in Sam Witwer's line, and that took like 2 hours. And afterwards, we've just been standing the whole time. We're dead, and I was just like, hey, like, was there anything worth it on the vendor floor? And they're like, no, it's just all the normal stuff,
Yeah.
And somewhere like ICCC, I'd still want to go look for myself, because there's always something cool. But this con, I was like, I get it. It's just Funkos and fudge booths. Like I'm just
I always say fuzzy backpacks and bean juice and ginseng gum.
Yeah, the weird thing I'm seeing now at every con, it's still kind of funny, but it's going to lose the charm. Is there's this company that makes all these products, bags, pillowcases, like sexualizing Pedro Pascal. And it's just a picture of him smiling, and it's just Daddy, you'll hold your head, it says, and it's just tote bags and stuff. And I look at it, and it's ridiculous, but like I'm like, it's not going to be like, it's everywhere now. Like the first time I saw it, I was losing my marbles, but it's like I'm seeing that everywhere now. And I'm like, okay, so it's just fudge booths and the Pedro Pascal pillowcase.
Yeah,
they sell well apparently because they're going everywhere.
Man, usually stuff like that does do good at those kind of cons. It's usually smaller items that are impulse buys that are like craziness. Yeah. But I mean, if you're looking for a $30,000 vinyl Cape Jawa, you ain't gonna find it in that building.
Right.
You'll find 6 of them at ICCC.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, the toys we got.
Well, and what's
vertically challenged mom talking about being pushed around.
There you go. Not at ICCC. You'll have space to move.
She's coming this year. She's
nice.
She's very excited. And
moms are great, man. They're the whole reason why we get to collect toys.
Oh yeah,
I love my mom, man. So that's so cool. She's coming.
Oh yeah, she's excited. She's heard the stories from the last couple of years, and she's like, "What? What happened at the Airbnb? I gotta go see this." And I was like, oh. But you were talking about. I know this is everyone else got to tell you before I did. I'm gonna show it off. You're talking about your vinyl Cape Jawas, and for you old heads.
Oh yeah, dude, I've heard about this thing about 30 times. Yeah, that's freaking epic, man.
This is the rarest Black Series item ever. This was a Hasbro employee gift in 2015 for the Force Awakens, and the white Chewbacca is one of the factory test shots from the mold figure they made. And they kept all the test shots, and they gave them their limited to 400 that were made, and about 30 of them never got distributed. I learned from a Hasbro employee.
Nice.
So it's an even lesser number that's out there. But you had to A, work there, and then B, not care enough about Star Wars toys while working at Hasbro to get rid of it.
Right.
There's been something like 4 of them that have ever like popped up on eBay. So there's not a lot.
But that's always good because it gives you provenance. So, you know,
one
it's
of my
good that there's a few out there.
Is whenever I'm live streaming, sometimes I'll just lift it in and get the comments of, did dude just flash the prototype Chewbacca? But that was.
But yeah, man, there's you'll even find like original vintage prototypes, rocket firing Fets and stuff, man. It's really crazy. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, well, we did a special stream before the con last year. I think we had like 6 or 7 of us, and we came up with a wish list. We're like, ICC con wish list, and we're like, what are we looking for? We're trying to like, you know, we came up with a list, each person, and we went over our lists, and we're like, this is what so and so's looking for, and so and so's looking for, and this is like my top 10. This is what I'm looking for,
and Tommy
we did really well. Like that was on your list, Hybrid, and like.
Oh no, what you're forgetting the caveat or the why it was on my list. So Tommy at Blitz Transmissions had us and a bunch of other people on, and he wanted us to make a list of what we're looking for. And then he told everyone, put one thing on that list that you know you're not going to find. And I was like, the prototype Chewbacca pack. No one has found that. And we're at the Airbnb on Friday night, and was it Friday? That was when the lobby sale was.
Yeah.
And we're at the Airbnb, all getting silly, you know. And one of our friends puts in the group chat, holy shit, someone has the prototype Chewbacca pack on the table. And I'm like, someone drive me there. And no one could. And so the next day, the Saturday, we went, and it was my mission. I was like, it was expensive enough that surely no one bought it. And we're going room to room, and I'm like, do you have the prototype Chewbacca pack? Do you know who has the prototype Chewbacca pack? Okay, bye. And I'm walking to the next room. I was a man on a mission. And it was like the second to last room. We were going from floor 1 up. And
nice.
It was like on the 4th floor. And it was just awesome getting to see it. And then the fact that I was able to make it happen was just like,
yeah, brother, a true treasure hunt over the weekend. It's beautiful, man.
Right.
I love it.
You have to be hooked on these room sales, man. That's the coolest thing I've ever seen at a con.
The room sales, we were doing really good because we walked up and down the vendor floor, and I found something there that I hadn't even seen, and I was like, it was the last day because I was going home the next day. I wasn't even planning on seeing it, but then Hybrid here walks in, and he says, Hunter, there's a Tiger Shark Arc 170. And I got it right here, and there's a funny story behind this thing.
Oh, we got it.
But I picked it up.
That's cool, man.
And I was like, no way. You know, I was looking for it. It was like number 2 on my wish list. It was like that high up.
Yeah.
And
so I go in this room first because I was way ahead of the group. I'm looking for my Chewbacca. And I knew that he was desperately looking for this, and he's way down the hallway to just walking with our friends. And I step in the door, and I just see it. It's on the guy's bed. I'm like, Connor, Tiger Shark Arc 170. And he's like, nuh-uh. I'm like, what are you doing? Right here. But
that's what I love, man. Well, that's the thing with the hotel and convention center in the same place, and the way that we allow it. See, a corporate convention would never allow that. Every single room is a lost vendor table out of my pocket. But it also, like, you're not allowed to do room sales during the convention. You have to start it after. You know what I mean? And it also allows people, because honestly, man, my dream is for people to come to this convention and be able to leave with more money than they came with, attend the entire weekend and have an unbelievable time. And that's what room sales can do for people. You bring a couple extra tubs and you're staying in the hotel, you know, you can really pay for your trip with the extra stuff. And we're all collectors, man. We all have a bin or 2 bins or 5 bins full of stuff that we kind of bought once but don't really want. Right. So bring that stuff, and somebody's out there, or bring the special or the exceptionally rare, because we do have big time collectors come from all over the world. And it's just because, man, have you ever seen that much vintage or even modern rare everything in one place?
It was nuts. I mean, the selection.
And we're not the biggest con in the world, man, but we've got more toys.
The thing that I love, and this is just a nuanced us thing, is, you know, we are very Star Wars pilled. You know, I mean, I dabble with the occasional Marvel Legend, and we're kind of touching on some Mythic Legions here lately, me and Hunter. But my collection is 99% Star Wars, and that is what your vendor floor is. It is, you know, and I remember we talked before, or no, I remember like when you did your Daredevil reunion in 23. I remember one of the headlines in the social media post was, "We're not just a Star Wars con," and I was like, "Oh, you're a Star Wars con with Daredevil, okay?" Like,
it's the way you always do it. Well, the reason why I do that, man, is because for the local people, if they're not Star Wars like lovers and big time Star Wars, they like look at it and they're like, "Oh, it's all Star Wars." Because like I call them the normals, but they like I have to have stuff for them too. So that's why we always have comic book artists or Ninja Turtles or Power Rangers or some random thing. Just to check some more boxes just for the local people. Because if you're local and you're into Star Wars, you already know me. Like you're already coming. You know, it's
right.
So, no, but I mean, for me, it's just I just know, man. I could find something at every booth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was gonna say like talking about like the place to find things. Even the toys from like when Hybrid and I were kids, like the 3.75 Clone Wars line, or like the Saga collection or Legacy collection. Like those figures are getting hard to find somewhat too. Like when we go to these big conventions, you don't find that stuff on a card like a Clone Wars, you know, carded figure. If you do, it's like one booth and they got a few things, but it's not like
our generation did a good job of opening every Clone Wars action figure that ever got ran.
I mean, when I walked in the door, you know, last year, and I found I don't know if you know Daryl the Priest. I found his table, and he had a ton of the battle packs, which is what I was looking for, like some of these, and I bought like 7 of them right off the bat.
Those are cool, man.
Yeah, because I had them all on my list, and I was like, no way. And I was just like, he had them priced great, you know, it's like a collector price. And, you know, don't have to pay shipping. It's like, man, if you're going to look for stuff like that,
or tax,
you gotta go. Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
We, I had a plan walking in the door. You know, it was, you know, we walked on the vendor floor. My plan was to walk one lap without spending $1.
Just good luck.
Soak it in, you know, and be smart about it. And the very first booth I saw had the San Diego Comic-Con First Order Stormtrooper, which was like the way they promoted the movie before it came out. And I
have that one upstairs. I actually have that one, and I don't have very many Black Series. That's a cool one.
It is, and it was like $15, and it's meant. And I was like, you can't just walk by that. Someone will buy it by the time I come back from my lap.
Dude.
And I broke my rule within 10 seconds of getting in the door.
Well, see, that's the wonderful part. Lots of the vendors are legit collectors. So like I said, those bins and stuff that we all have, they just happen to have massive collections where their bins are full of like Power of the Force carded figures or like Black Series or like the first 12. You know what I mean? It's like, it's nuts. But it's really cool. I love walking the vendor floor, man, and I don't even get through it without spending money. Because, you know, much like Hair Club for Men, I'm not just the president of ICCC. I'm also a client.
I was gonna ask. I had a question. We're kind of just rambling, and that's fun. But I had a couple questions in case we ran out of
stuff. Yeah, go for it. Anything.
One of them was, what is the coolest thing you've ever seen at ICCC, and what's your favorite ICCC pickup?
The coolest thing I've ever seen at ICCC. You know what? Just the coolest thing. At the room sales about 4 years or 5 years back when we were down in Franklin, there was a guy that flew in from overseas from Australia, and he bought the only sealed bagged example of a rocket firing Boba Fett. And he paid $350,000 for it, man. At the time, it's worth like $1 million now. So he bought it at just the right time. But that much money being handed to someone else for that rare of a thing was bonkers for me to see. And because I'm the guy that runs the show, I got to be like, see it. It's
so you're literally watching a Walter White duffel bag of money.
Yeah, it was, but that kind of crazy stuff happens all the time, man. So I really think that's cool because you walk around this show, you'll see prototypes, you'll see pre-production, you'll see rare stuff, oddball stuff. I don't know. We have a guy that just flies up from Argentina and he makes little mini tiny figures, and he does a 5,000-mile flight that he takes every year to do that.
Oh.
I was looking. I meant to go back and I missed him, but I gotta. If he's coming back this year, I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, he'll be back. JP Customs, man, he's a good dude. But even like, I don't know, did you walk by like the sticker booth or the magnet booth, and like all the magnets are like stuff we love.
Every year I buy a few. It's because they're all like based on the Kenner figures.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because he always has that 3 for $8 deal or something.
Yeah.
So every year I pick my 3 most favorites, and my fridge is getting covered. It's ridiculous. There you go.
Yeah.
I think he gave me this one for free because I got his cutout that I got in the corner there.
Oh yeah, his big cutout Cody.
Oh, nice.
Hiding in the dark. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. It's cool stuff like that, and usually at other places it isn't. I don't know. Everything is something that you can find on like Amazon at other places.
Right.
Like you can't find this stuff on Amazon. You are not going to find yourself and find Jawa on Amazon. And if you do, it's going to be like because somebody tried listing on Amazon because they don't know what they're doing or something. I don't know.
Right.
Like,
that's the thing is I always tell Hunter when we're at our Fan Expo or Galaxy Cons is we can look at the vendor floor, but man, it's always the last 3 waves of Black Series that you can go find at the Walmart, pegs.
Yeah.
You're going to pay a $5 markup. In my haul at any of these big corporate cons, if there's a haul outside of the autographs, sometimes I just go and I get scribbles put on what I brought from home. But there's been times where I come home and I found like one figure where it was like, whatever, I'll get it. But like the ICCC hauls were nuts. We did a thing after because at our Airbnb there was 7 of us this last time that all went, and at the last day after Sunday wrapped up, we brought everything we bought from the entire weekend into the living room and built.
Cool.
And it was, and we're just sitting there, and there's just a little air of disgust. Like, did we just do that? Like, did we fill a big living room full? You couldn't walk. I mean, it was, and I mean, it was disgusting. And I remember I texted my mom, like, I think we got a problem. Like, and then we had to figure out how to take it home. I mean, it was rough, but.
Well, if it was like a million like peg warmers that covered the living room floor, then it would be a problem. But I'm sure everything on the living room floor is freaking awesome, and you're like, I can't pass that up. I can't pass that up.
It was hot toys and all sorts. All sorts of stuff. I mean, it was.
I just sent you Tommy's post if you wanted to pull it up. I DM'd it to you on Instagram.
Yeah, I'll pull up that picture because it.
Yeah, he's got to see it. You got to see it.
It's just disgusting.
It's just so awesome to see the overwhelming amount of just Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, just 2 sofas just covered.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
And I mean, it was just our whole thing. The 31-inch Jack Specifics Clone Troopers, those were cool.
Yeah.
And I took that sofa all on my own. That was just me. But I had a few things sprinkled around, but it was just insanity what was done. I mean, I don't. Usually I go to a con and I pre-purchase my autographs online. I do it over the course of a month ahead, so it feels like I'm not spending what I am. And I just go and I collect. But for ICCC, I make sure there's $2,000 in my pocket before I even think about it. And it's never enough. I mean, it's going to be.
Well, it's not like you need to come and buy all the toys. Don't scare away all the families that don't want to waste $1 million on toys.
Yeah.
there's man, the thing about it is even me, I'm walking around just spending tons of money on stuff because it's like, when do you see that? When do you have access to XYZ that you're looking for
Right.
like that? So you gotta do it because you've been to 1,000 different places looking for XYZ and never even seen one. So you're like, well, I just saw it, gotta do it. But then that's why you end up with prototypes, Chewbacca's and shark
Yep.
planes and all this fun stuff, man. So I hear you.
No, we have just. I mean, this has been like the best con. I mean, just
Thank you so much, man.
our collecting and just. I mean, like I showed, the photo at the hover tank. I mean, it's just we do so much, just social, social meetings, and
Yeah.
it's
And
just insane.
I do want to say that's a big thing for especially like our group, because Hybrid said that we're like all over. For like me living in Wisconsin, we don't even have like cons like that near me unless we're going to Chicago. And a lot of these guys, they live like almost 10 hours away from me. So to have like a place like that to meet up with, these guys is like means a lot to me.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Well, you guys got to make some kind of swag. Everybody makes swag. Do you make swag?
I'm working on some ICCC specific stuff this
there
year.
You go, man. Yeah.
I have some stickers just for the channel. I have a little merch shop. You can get T-shirts.
Nice.
There's something coming your way if I can catch you this time.
I dig it. But yeah, always make sure when you do your swag, right? Make sure you bring a couple pieces to the con store and say, hey, I want to submit my swag for the swag contest. And they'll give you some ICCC swag as a trade in return. And then they put it into the contest. And then we have an Airbnb for the staff where they all go at night. And then they go over all the different things and they pick out the ones that everybody likes the most. And then whoever wins like this big, awesome trophy. That's like swag champion for whatever year it is. So yeah, make sure you stop by the con store and trade off some so you get in the contest as well and get free ICCC swag.
That's cool.
It's just because we're all I don't know, man. We're like legit nerds. There really is no corporation. It's just fans. So that's why we do things like that, man. That's why we have some of the most amazing cosplayers that come. It's because they just love it. We let the people be the people, and we do a good cosplay contest. And then, like, how like photo ops and stuff, you do photo ops right at a con.
Right.
So what we do is in between the lulls and stuff, we make sure for the cosplay contest that they get their pictures in their cosplay against the banner and everything. And then we cut it up and give them high def copies for free. No one does that.
That's awesome.
It's a terrible business decision, but they all leave with a smile they work so hard on their outfits, man. And there's so much money involved and so much work and time. Like, why shouldn't they be treated as a guest star? They're an attraction. They're awesome to see. I love getting my pictures with them. So that's the thing. We get from the cosplayers, we get the thing where it's like, thanks for treating us so nice. And it's like, well, we provided you a room and water and like free pictures. And it's like, that's just being civil. And they're like, man, they usually make us like change in the main hall. And it's like, oh, we're not that guy, But
well, our friend Matt Skywalker Hendricks, my most favorite ICCC memory with him. He made it. I don't think he did it so much last year. I think it was he just wasn't seeing anyone that was catching his eye. But our first at the fairgrounds, anytime that he saw a really pretty girl in cosplay, he made it a point to have his photo taken with them, and he would have me take it, and he would just stand next to them straight as a board, just in the picture every time. And then he did like a super post of it on Instagram, and he's just sitting there just shit eating grin about it. And it's just, there's just so many good memories tied to this show.
I love it.
And we've only gone twice, and it gets said, Hunter and I get on Xbox every other night with some of our friends, and God, we get an hour in before someone says, man, I can't wait for ICCC. It's just a nonstop quote. And
that's great to hear, man. It really means a lot. It really does.
I mean, we're living for it, but so I guess real quick, because I just had a couple of other questions that I'd bulleted.
Yeah, go for it.
One of the ones I thought would be neat, and I'm sure you're gonna have a great story, is starting a convention. What are some of the things that you've had to do that when you initially said I'm going to run a Comic-Con weren't even on your radar you were going to have to do? Whether it be pulling a secret permit or something,
Dude, everything. For tattoos, you need sinks, even though they haven't used sinks in like 20 years. They use like powdered gels and stuff, and like to do anything that happens, they don't use sinks anymore.
Yeah.
But you have to have one, and you have to have that permit. You have to have unlimited amounts of paper towels, because I do not care how much you reinforce a guest star's coffee cup, they will spill it on the floor at least 6 times. It just every time. But it's just because they're signing something, and then boop, it goes over, and then you got a cup of coffee on the floor or on the table or on the whatever. So always have extra tablecloths. Always have a printer on site, because you will need signs. A random person will just start walking into like a security room that is blatantly obvious with red, like, do not exit bars on it. Alarm will sound, unless you put up like a on the handle, like, do not enter. You have to put an additional sign. But no, when I first started the con, I wasn't starting a con planning to run a con. I run the Imperial Commissary. It's 27 Facebook groups on Facebook, and they cover everything: buying, selling, and trading vintage toys all the way through modern, and a whole bunch of groups for like learning and teaching. And if you're just starting out collecting, like we have IC 101. If you want to join the Pay It Forward page, it's just collectors sending free stuff to other collectors, and you go one after another. If you want to do auctions, we have an auction page, and we have a modern page, and we have a vintage page, and we have, if you collect one figure and you're like you have a focus, like I have a Boba Fett focus. I have many Boba Fetts. So if you focus on a figure, we have a focus page. Bunch of different stuff like that. And so what happened is, with the IC, they said, well, we have to do a real life meetup. So I was like, all right, screw it. I'm going to the show in Lexington Comic-Con, Lexington Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going up to the show in Lexington. If you guys want to meet up, let's meet up. Maybe we'll find a bar or something. And we'll go, hang out, bring some toys, whatever. So what happened is I had somebody on my groups reach out on the Imperial Commissary, and he said, I happen to have a comic book store in Lexington, Kentucky. You guys can do your meetup here. So I said, that sounds super cool, So I put up an event post, whatever, on Facebook, and we had 15 people come. But randomly, luckily, out of the blue, Kim Simmons, the guy who took all the pictures for the original, like all the pictures on the boxes and the card backs, where it says collect them all, and all the Power of the Force 2 cards and all those, that's all Kim Simmons' photos. Okay. So he happens to walk in the door, because he lived 15 minutes away from this dude's place and was a member of the IC and saw it was happening. So all of a sudden, and while we did, man, I bought Little Caesars pizzas and sodas, and we watched the Revenge of the Jedi trailer on one of those old tick, 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 tick projectors on the wall. That was the big deal, Okay. And we hung out. Kim Simmons shows up and just starts telling us about the toy lines and Kenner, and he has like original pictures and proofs and stuff that was used on the boxes and the artwork that we grew up with. So it was totally insane. And then that magic, because it was, why the heck is Kim Simmons there? You know what I mean? There's 15 people at a random, we're eating Little Caesars, it's, right. It wasn't exactly a draw. And so what happened is, the next meetup had about 35 people, because that word got out there, and then more people came, and then we did the next meetup, and it was like in Ohio. And when you do stuff in Ohio, there's lots of Kenner people, and there's lots of prototype people, so that even got it more buzz. Right. So that grew into, that 30 grew into 50, into 100, into 300, and then we were at Celebration in Chicago. I don't know if you made it to that one.
No, I haven't made a Celebration yet. It's on the
Celebration is bonkers, man. It is massively giant craziness, but you should experience it once in your life. It's kind of like driving a Tesla with the plaid option. You should do it once in your life. It will put you in traction, but it's something the human body should probably experience once.
The thing with Celebration that's always made me hesitant is so many things are lottery based, where there's a panel room and there's 200 chairs and maybe you'll get to go. And I can't win a $1 scratch off ticket. And I'm just like, I'm going to go to Celebration. I'm going to spend my money for my ticket and I'm going to lose every dang lottery that I try to get in on.
I'll tell you, I did the lotteries. It was at the Chicago one, and I didn't get any of the things I want. The only thing I put on my lottery request is I do not want the episode 1 panel because it was, I think, 25th anniversary episode 1 or something.
Yeah.
And I got 6 tickets to the episode 1 panel because I had 6 Celebration tickets at the time. Because whether it was I had a press badge at the time, I had the VIPs, but I also had the regular ones because you couldn't sell them at the time or transfer them. So like I bought the regular ones originally, and then I ended up being able to get the VIPs, so I was saddled with 6 tickets. And so I had 6 shots at the lottery, dude, and every single one didn't get me anything. I was buying the Mandalorian panel off of eBay from somebody that I ended up meeting by the Funko Pop booth. Like, that's how I got to see the Mando panel.
At least it worked out.
Yeah, totally.
Chris here saying that Chicago was nuts.
Yeah, Chicago was nuts. So if you remember, if you were at Chicago, Chris, when you walked out of the main doors, if you saw to the left, there were tons of people with old toys. And it was like 5 of the meeting rooms of that Marriott, like right out the exit. And that was the IC meetup. We had about 600 people there. And it was just bonkers, man, because it was like 3 meeting rooms and there were so many IC members. And so what happened is the next one, I said, okay, I'm going to go and do an IC meetup in my hometown in Nashville. Mm-hmm. So I went down and I was looking for a space, and it being Nashville, Tennessee, if you're not Coca-Cola or have $8 billion, it's very hard to find a venue because it's a very popular place. Right. So I found a venue. It was the Williamson County AG Expo Park. And it was literally a rodeo, dirt floor. But they had a 4,000 square foot room, and I was going to rent it for the meetup. So I was talking to the lady, and I'm like, I take the 4,000 square foot room, and we were looking at it and walking around the venue. And then she goes, well, the 178,000 square foot rodeo arena comes with the 4,000 square foot room, and it's only $10,000 more. So I said, I was on the phone with my buddy, Mark Ivan, at the time, and he was an IC guy too. And I was like, Mark, I don't know, man. She's saying it's only 10 grand. You should see this place. I'm like, it's freaking giant, And he's like, dude, it's what you do. He's like, go big or go home. So I was like, all right, whatever, I'll do it. So I signed the contract, and I was going to throw the world's biggest IC meetup. And so what I did is I was like, well, now I have all this space. Let me try to make it more of an event and maybe get a few guest stars. And then my buddy Philip Brown came out of the woodwork. We used to record a podcast together. And he was like, hey, man, in real life, I run all the conventions for the Rotary Club of America. So he knew how to set up a convention. And then I ended up having a buddy that was an Army Ranger. And he's like, do you need help with security? He's like, I'm a highly decorated Army Ranger, blah, 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 blah. And I can bring all the guys and they'll all be top notch and everything like that. And I was like, sure. Right. But he had a Boba Fett focus. And then more people came on. And that's why anybody you stop that has a staff shirt on will not only be able to help you with whatever you need, but they'll be able to talk to you about collecting and stuff like that because we're all legit nerds. You can do trivia with us. And so what happened is all these people came on, and then I'm like, all right, well, now it's starting to get bigger. And I had, I think, 1,000 replies of people that were going to come to the show, right? And I'm like, all right, so I'm going to try to get a guest star. Now, I don't know anything about running a convention. I have a trucking company in real life and art galleries. This isn't what I do. And but I've been a salesperson my whole life, so I'm not afraid to cold call, to just dial a number and say, hey, is blah, blah, blah there? So what I did is I went to every single website for every single guest star that exists on the planet. Right. And I called them all on their like blah, blah, blah.com, like williamshatner.com. And you call the little phone number down the bottom, and 99% of the time they tell you off, but 1% of the time they go, sure, here's the email address of his agent. And that's how I got William Shatner. And once I got Shatner, I got Renee Auberjonois and Marina Sirtis and a whole bunch of other Star Trek people that will go wherever Shatner is because he draws that crowd, so they get their autographs too. Then I got a bunch of Star Wars people. So the first year, it kind of just, dude, it was just supposed to be another IC meetup. And it just snowballed. And it snowballed. And then we did the second year at the same venue. But we rented out all the hotels in Franklin. So there were literally no rooms left in the entire town where this AG Expo Park was.
Wow.
So we were like, all right, we got to find somewhere else. And that's when we moved to the Music City Sheraton in Nashville, which was a wonderful place as we were growing. But as you guys could see, we've outgrown the space. So we went and we did the fairgrounds. After 2 years at the Music City Sheraton, we went and did the fairgrounds. And the fairgrounds was cool, but it's just so big. It was like Disney World size. You know what I mean? It was just like you had to walk a lot. And but there was stuff to do.
There, and it was just nuts. I mean, we're just looking around and we're like, where does it? And afterwards, we're hearing all this. Did you go to that building and do? I didn't know there was anything in that building. Like I was lost in the vendor room.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. Some people were like, I never got out of the vendor room, and it's like. There was like games, there was video games, table games. There was a village. An entire like historic village, literally.
Yeah.
Is it cool? Yeah. There was like even somebody in there making like original bologna sandwiches and like butter or whatever. Right. It was like olden timey, which was cool. Right. There was a train museum. I don't know if you made it to it.
Not there. I got pretty stuck with the food trucks. You know.
Yeah, the food trucks. Yeah.
You know where to find me. So.
Well, that darn parking lot guy over there, he charged me one of the food trucks backed into one of the fence posts, and it was a 2x4 that went across, and it broke the 2x4. He charged me $1,750 for one 2x4.
What?
Yeah, man, he was so not a nice guy. It was an awful situation for me.
Yeah,
like, it was just terrible.
Yeah, next time just call me. I got the Ryobi drill. I'll charge you the $8.
Dude, I would have gone to Home Depot. I would have bought him 200 freaking 2x4s for that much money.
Yeah, no.
You keep them in the back. Right?
For that much money, you can buy the 2x4s to build your own venue.
Right?
Now you know you can swing it. So now you got to.
Yeah, sure enough. Well, that's the reason why we had to go back to the Sheraton, and it killed me. I was sold out of vendor tables in like a month and a half. We were sold out of hotel rooms in like 72 hours. It's not nearly big enough for what we do and what we've grown into. But they were nice enough, and we did go back. The thing is the GM changed since last time, and the other director changed, and it was different, as you said. It was still really nice, and you guys have such wonderful stories from it. But it was half the size of the one we did the year before, as far as like vendor tables and everything.
No, that was the big thing. Is our first one was the fairground one. And I just remember after the first day, and I mean, it was fun and we had a great time, but I remember after the first day, just looking at the group and I was like, so this is going to be more about hanging out with the homies this year, right? Like, yeah, like it was just smaller and just by nature, less shopping. I mean, after the first day, I'd kind of seen the floor, and so every day we'd go out in the morning and just see what got put out after, the night, the big shopping day was the first day for us. And it was kind of through then. So then we just kind of hung out, but I mean,
it was a necessity in order to have the show. And that's the thing. So many people come from so many different places to meet their friends that if we don't throw it every single year, people are going to be totally disappointed. It's a family reunion where all of a sudden it isn't once a year. So that's why we made it happen. So I'm happy, but I'll tell you what, that 5-6 months before the show where I'm sitting there and I literally can't even be like, go buy a vendor booth at ICCCon, go to icnational.com and grab your vendor booth today. They're great deals and it's the best vendor booths in the world. Like I couldn't even pitch that or anything. It was just me sitting there being like, everything's done.
I was gonna say, did you not get the venue until that late? But no, I got
we got the venue. I think it was a full 12 months before because tickets went on sale in January. Yeah, and so did hotel rooms, and all the hotel was sold out 72 hours, and then the vendor tables were sold out in a month and a half. So I literally had close to 8 months because
Just hanging
October,
out,
if you go back, where I was just like, I got the guest stars, everything's laid out. I can't even fit another person in. And all I was getting was people calling and being like, I've come before. I want to get a vendor table. And I'm like, I'm really sorry, but they sold out in like a month and a half.
I was
So,
just gonna ask that if you had people calling and asking if they could,
oh,
be
dude,
a vendor
so
for
many, man. So many, and so many like club tables and so many like props and displays. Like the props and displays, I've had massive ones, but we had to even cut down on those. And then the poor guys with like the best tank in the history of the world had to be out back with laser tag. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I was out of room. There was no room. So that's why I'm so super excited that we found a legit venue with a legit convention center. The Sheridan was perfect before you guys came. The year before you guys came, we sold out and it got a little bit too tight. The year before, it was perfect. It was the year after COVID. There was, 10% of the population was back out there because we were the first convention after COVID. Actually, I won the Convention Promoter of the Year award from the Hall of Honor in Las Vegas. I got a big Super Bowl ring out of it.
Wow.
But it was because all the mega cons and fan expos and everything used our COVID rules and regulations and everything we did because we were the first convention after COVID. That's why if you guys know anybody that need, I think it's 45 automatic squirting hand sanitizer machines, I have them. So if you know anybody that's looking, I'd be happy to move them for a killer deal.
Great. Get them out of my garage.
Yeah. They're in my wife's warehouse, man. They're just there. And I look at them sometimes. I'm like, oh, I got I think it's 35 of these. They had these wands that you would put over stuff. And we had our team go through every night and put the wands over everything. But they're they have the purple LEDs or whatever.
Yeah.
So, UV light.
Spray.
Yeah.
That was
if you happen to need like 20 or 30 of those, I'm your guy. But why would you anymore? But I don't know. But we did all that, and I actually got presented the ring by. You ever see Bruce Almighty?
Yeah.
You know the guy where the monkeys come out of him?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that dude is the guy who gave me the ring. Cool. So that's awesome. It was pretty cool. I can't recall his name right now, but I was super jazzed about that, man. But yeah, and then we did the next one at the Sheridan, then we went to the fairgrounds, and then we went back to the Sheridan, but it was just way too small. So I'm super glad we got this new place. It's so impossible to get into venues like this down here because, man, we have the NFL Draft and the Country Music Awards and Coca-Cola and the real estate and all the big ones come to Nashville. Like, they're just so massive. So, and the thing is we're no corporations. So we can't compete with that. I do not have a guy that's just going to be like, $80 of Coca-Cola and $300,000 for the venue. No problem. You know what I mean? Like where it goes to the accounting department in building 17 in like Idaho, you know what I mean? Then somebody just signs it. So it's a lot of work to get there, but I'm super excited because we've been growing and I want to keep it growing. But with anything that you grow, you got to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger without losing the family-friendly, heartfelt family reunion feel. It's a very tough knife edge we have to walk. Right. Because if you get too big, well, I don't know, because we were way too big when we were at the fairgrounds.
I mean, it'd be cool. It'd be cool if we got there, Yeah. And without jumping to it, I mean. Well,
that's the thing. If slow and steady wins the race, and if we keep our principles about us and keep it the way it should be, and the thing that we love, it's going to grow automatically. Man, these room sales, just the sheer fact that we let them go on, which is insanity. It's insanity. From a business standpoint, I'm insane. Like, if I listened to anyone, it wouldn't exist.
If you were the party pooper of the century, man.
All right. But the thing is, man, it's legit magic.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't happen anywhere else. Where can you say that? What can you say that about?
Yeah, did I show you that really rare Chewbacca pack?
Yeah, there you go, man. And
you don't see those anywhere.
Yeah, there's lots of stories like that because, lots of times people will not put the really, really rare, expensive Chewbacca on a vendor table where there's tens of thousands of people walking by.
Yeah.
Because God forbid you want to buy a sandwich and then all of a sudden you just lost like a car,
Yeah.
No, No, and that's the big thing you're talking about, the energy of the event. I love that you're always growing. I complained about Steel City Con. They're refusing to grow but selling more tickets, and I mean, you openly acknowledge, man, more people want to come. Let's get a bigger building so we can sell more tickets.
Because I want to keep that feel no matter how big we get. You know what I mean?
And it's just, you can just tell it's one of those cons where, when you're at like a fan expo, everyone's just there to get their scribbles and to go look at the same booths that you see at every other fan expo. But everyone that's at ICCC is just, they have a friend that's there. They're meeting up with someone. They've been there before, and they just know that, they're going to find something perfect to add to the collection. And it's just there's just a good energy about it, and everyone's happy. I mean, Hunter mentioned the wagon guy with
Red Wagon dioramas, right, or something like that.
Well, no, he's cool. He's cool, but he mentioned at a fan expo, the guy with the wagon full of Funkos, getting stuff.
Oh yeah, for the autograph people, yeah.
We were at Chicago this last year.
Oh my gosh, dude!
It's a good story. But we were at Fan Expo Chicago this last year, and there was a dude with a wagon full of stuff he was getting signed. He's getting 20 Mandos signed. Those certainly aren't going on eBay, right?
Right.
And it's all a mob in the celebrity area, and someone bumped into his wagon, like kicked a tire or something, and he turns around and starts just screaming at the dude, "You want to go? You want to effing go?"
No,
I mean, it was a big screaming meltdown.
Yeah.
And I'm
we have very serious security. He would have been gone in 7 seconds.
Right. But it's like, at a con like that, it's so hot and crowded, and you're all, sardined in with each other. I can understand how tempers could raise. You're the fifth dude to bump into me in 10 seconds.
It's a challenge in patience for sure.
Right. But you don't, everyone at ICCC is just happy to be there, and it's just, I mean, it's just a credit to how it's ran.
That's because we're the real nerds, not the eBay flippers, dude.
Right.
Yeah. 100%. Yep.
You usually get more angry when you're like working your job than when you're hanging out chilling.
Right.
The second this becomes a job, I'm quitting. So
amen, brother.
So I mean, and it's like I've told everyone else, like, the YouTube channel throws me a few bucks here and there on some ad revenue. That's cool and all, but this ain't work. Like, this is the second that I'm not having fun talking about toys, I'm not talking about toys anymore. It's just going on. But, we're 8 years in, so I must really like it. So, but no, I mean, it's just, it's just a great show. And
thanks so much, man. I appreciate it.
There's so many good stories, and I mean, and we could chat your ear off. One of them even was, we were trying to find you at this last one, and you're just running around busy, so, and then so I'd see you walk in, talking to someone, I'm not going to bother him now. He's working. And
you can always stop me, man. I'm constantly talking to somebody.
Oh yeah.
But anybody could always stop me, and we'll chat and
stuff, you're taking to someone. I'll catch you next time. And there was one time, it was like late Saturday, or it might have been Sunday, where we were like leaving, and you were on a park bench way down by the doors, alone, looking like a single father of 7 who's just found the first solace in a few months. And I'm like, you know what? He needs this quiet that he's getting. I'm not going to go pester.
No worries. That was actually my little hidey hole bench, because it was right between where Lando and Warwick would go out to go into the stage, the backstage.
Oh.
So it was like that was my little secret hidey hole. But you can always stop by. Always say hi to me, man. I love talking to you guys. I love talking to everybody.
I'm not ruining this. He's getting his like 5 minutes that I'm sure he hasn't had all weekend.
Well, it's funny, man. My wife, my wonderful wife, because she's always in the back in the accounting office. You only see her for a second running by. You know what I mean? Like going somewhere. But what she does is she has the security track me down on the walkie-talkies and find me wherever I am, because they have eyes everywhere, so they'll be like, I got them in the blah blah blah, and then she makes me go to the accounting room where I go into the closet I don't know what's there anymore, so because we have a new venue, but where I would go into the mop closet in the accounting room thing. And I would hide in there on an upside down bucket and eat food because she'd be like, you have to eat this.
Yeah.
So that's where I'd eat my lunch like a little hobbit in a hole. You know what I mean? Because even when I'm in the accounting room, when people walk in with because there's a lot of transactions and stuff. It's like you see in the backroom scenes in like Goodfellas or something. There's a lot of things going on in there.
Yeah.
So it's constantly people. And when they stop in, they're like, oh, did you see this? Or how did you see this? And the thing is since I'm the guy running the show, 99% of the time I've probably seen or heard whatever it is that security is recanting the story, or one of my staff is saying, or what I mean, because I get kept up to date. I've always got things in my ears, and
You're sitting there listening to the tea on the walkie-talkie in the closet.
Totally, dude. But yes, I'm just hiding in a closet, so it's really not as glamorous being a convention runner as you would think. But she keeps me fed, so I'm not like literally passing out at 3:00 in the afternoon, because I'm like, I haven't eaten anything all day, and I've been running around all day, and now that's it. I'm going to bed.
That's one of my favorite things with your cons, and I mean, like it happened at Chicago. It happens most of the time at Motor City Con, where my dad's the guy that flinches when he sees that $4 Coke, fountain Coke.
Yeah.
And so I can't bring myself to do it. It's just how I was raised. And so I will go to these big cons and let my blood sugar drop to nothing, because I'm not eating.
Yeah.
First, I'm not standing in the line for 2 hours to then get the privilege of buying an $8 fountain drink and a dried out hot dog that's been on the roller since Friday.
Yeah.
And so I just don't eat. And the food trucks, has been like lifesaver. And
well, see, the food trucks were great, but here's the thing: is now the new location allows us for so many food options. Because see, that's the other thing. Most conventions like this don't book you. Have you noticed that? That literally no other food is within walking distance.
Yeah. There's nothing that you can go get.
Right.
That drives me nuts, man. But I'm a nerd, so I go to conventions, and what do I want? Like Chili's for $14.99 for a triple sampler platter. Like, what's the problem?
So food trucks this time.
I don't know. I don't think so, man. Just because food trucks. Here's the biggest problem with food trucks. Food trucks, you contract someone to contract the food trucks, and then they get like acai bowls, which I'm quite sure you guys didn't eat, or they get like vegan whatever thing, and which is fine. And I understand that, if you're at an art show, people might enjoy that. But you try to tell them, most of the clientele kind of looks like me and eats meat and stuff. And then they bring an acai bowl. And then the acai bowl's yelling at you all day going, I'm not selling acai bowls, whatever the heck that is. I don't even know what it is.
Right.
But, who the hell's going to go buy a $13 acai bowl when there's like a giant pile of fried chicken and French fries for half the price next door? Yeah. I mean, nobody, and the thing is, man, it ends up being a hassle for me because they start being like, oh, there's not enough people, or oh, I didn't sell enough. And then I got the chicken dude over there being like, dude, I will come to like your birthday party. This is epic. You know what I mean? But it's like, they don't get because, dude, honestly, the hardest part about running a sci-fi convention is that 90% of the people on this planet do not understand what it is at all.
Right.
There's 10% that totally get it, that knows what you mean when you say Comic-Con or sci-fi convention or whatever. But there are 90% of the people that have never been to one, have no idea what it is, and have only maybe seen it once or twice in like a TV show where they're banging on it. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. So that makes it tough sometimes with different things. So when you're sitting there talking to the food truck and you're like, listen, you want to deep fry like a piece of butter and put it on like an ice cream sundae? It'll sell like freaking hotcakes. But you want to do an acai bowl or whatever? No one is going to be there to buy that. And the thing is they don't hear that because they're usually doing it at like the zoo or a fair. And a fair or a zoo is not for collectors and people like us and stuff like that. It's for random, like, I got nothing else to do this weekend. Let's go to the zoo.
Right. There was the one truck this last go around that did the chicken fingers out back, and oh my god,
Yeah.
that was
He was so happy. But look, there you go. What did you eat? The dope chicken fingers or the weird ICE bowl?
The pizza was good too. But
the pizza was good. Mikey's pizza was good. Yeah, I'll give it that. But they did really well too.
Yeah, the chicken tenders just kept getting me.
Yep.
And I know there was more than one conversation inside with the friend group of where'd hybrid go? And then I'd come back like 20 minutes later with chicken finger breath. Like I was out there a bit. But
that's exactly. You were eating the chicken fingers. Don't worry. There is really, really good Nashville hot chicken within, I'd say, 60 yards of this hotel.
Okay.
Nice.
So if that's your thing, you'll be fine.
So I gotta find the snacks,
Yeah.
I gotta say one thing too, talking about like creature comforts around a con, you were talking about how nice it is to be able to just like have a spot to like sit down.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could tell the difference like at your con versus like these big cons. These big cons, there's so many people, like 80,000 people or 70,000 people, how many ever thousands of people, that there's like a butt in every seat and there's nowhere to sit, and just being
and
able to
hardly
sit
any
down,
seats.
Yeah,
yeah,
three
exactly.
chairs they forgot to put away before opening the con, and they're full
Exactly.
all the time.
And I think I remember seeing some pictures from the venue that you booked this year, and I was like, man, there's like seats all around the vendor floor, right? And I'm like,
there's different places where you can, definitely grab a seat, man.
Oh yeah.
There's even couches and stuff, or like outside fire pit type deals, or go hang out by the pool. You know what I mean? Like it's way more chill, but that's also a terrible business decision. If you think about it, that's why they don't put any chairs in Disney World. There's very few places to actually sit in Disney World, because if you're sitting, you ain't spending. But the thing is I'm not there to try to take every single last penny out of your pocket. I'm there to provide you with an unbelievably good time and create magic. That's what I'm trying to do. Because my payment, dude, it is certainly not the convention. It's how happy people are. It's coming on shows like yours where you're like, dude, I go to 1 million conventions a year and it is the best convention in the world. I am just some guy that collects toys. There is absolutely no reason that guys like you should be saying it's the best convention in the world, because there are multi-billion-dollar conglomerates that I am fighting for that title. You know what I mean? So
no, and that's the thing is, I mean, they have the money and the ability to be, I mean, I'm big on always being with technology and stuff, user friendly. Like, I like it when things are built, for the ease of the people. And
how excessively awesome is our app that we have no business having such a good app?
Yeah, it's great. And
that's because the guy that makes the app is a Star Wars nerd collector that also happens to be awesome at making apps.
Right. No, I hate how like all the GalaxyCon apps and stuff are always they're just links to the browser, and I'm like, okay, so when I'm in the venue,
literally we have a better app, and we have no business having a better app.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, at least it keeps like a hard copy of the info in the app, where the GalaxyCon app is like, oh, we can't show you what's going on because there's 10,000 people here all using all the data on the block, so you can't load it up. And
you can use our app offline.
Dang straight. So
that's
laid out perfect.
Well, that's because, like you're saying, they don't really care too much about those little things. It's like you're kind of like cattle. It's a numbers game. It's that they get your money, they push you through, and you get out.
Well, as he was saying with that one where they toss everybody out and make them stand in line. I mean, all they want is they want to sell that ticket, and then they don't care what happens to you.
Yeah,
right.
I want to sell that ticket, and I want you to tell me that you loved it after.
The insane thing with Steel City Con is it's in that little Monroeville Convention Center, and right in Pittsburgh is the David Lawrence Convention Center, and it is one. I don't know how Pittsburgh doesn't have a fan expo or something there. It's a big enough city, you would think they would have one of these corporate ones there, but they don't. But it's the building that they would pick, and it's in the city, and so there's parking garages and stuff, and she's getting.
But if you're renting out an old Kmart, it probably costs them like 10 grand.
Yeah,
If you're renting out that thing, it's probably like 70, 100.
But they're talking because they have this Steel City Con fan page on Facebook, and if you go on there and make a complaint, oh my God, they come for you. I mean, all the people that had a good time this last weekend, and then the con itself will like laugh react to your post. And I'm not just sitting here like the line was long and I didn't like it. Like, you know, like that's petty stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, mock who talks like that. But like, I'll be like, yeah, it sucks that this is like the fourth time in the row that the fire marshal kicked us out. Why don't we go to the David Lawrence Convention Center? And they're like, well, it would cost more, and so the tickets would have to go from $40 to $60.
Yeah, but if you're selling that many tickets, it doesn't cost you more.
And their parking lot literally fills up 4 hours before the con starts, so you have to go park at the mall a quarter mile down the road. And now the mall like just got sold to Walmart. Like this is like their news of the week is they're opening.
Oh, jeez.
They're building a new Walmart in Monroeville. So now the only parking lot on the block is like going to be Walmart, meaning you're not going to be allowed to fill it every 3 months for Motor City Con. And they're, but they're like, well, if we went to the other center, the ticket would go up $20 and you might have to pay to park. And I'm like, so you're saying for $30 more, the fire marshal isn't going to walk me out every time? Great. Let's do this. Cause you're already $30 cheaper than any other con and you're trying to get those numbers. So why don't you just run it like those cons?
Yeah.
And they just have no interest in it. And that's for your awesome, you know, or you're just like the building.
Well, that's because they're making tons of money, man. They don't care.
But
that's also why I'm never going to be profitable, because I'll keep growing it as fast as I can grow it. You know what I mean? In order for you not to have that kind of experience, and therefore it costs me more on the front end. I mean, this venue is a heck of a lot more expensive. But
you're gonna sell a heck of a
wait
lot
till you
more.
see it, dude. It's so nice.
I'm ready, dude. I'm just gonna pre-quote the upcoming after Xbox party and be, man, I can't wait for ICCC. So
nice.
It gets said every night, but it's no, I'm excited. It's gonna be bigger. It's gonna be great, and it's gonna be such a good time. I mean,
I absolutely love it, man. And the more you guys talk about the show and the more you tell your friends, that's really how we grow. And that's why our attendees are so wonderful and nice. It's because they're all personal referrals from people like us. You know, which is really, really nice. I really love what it is and what it has become. And I sure do appreciate you guys always talking about it. So thank you very much.
We're happy to plug anything, anytime. The insane thing is every couple of weeks, we'll make a new friend on YouTube, you know, a new channel will pop up. And then we'll be like, hey, yeah, we like your content. You want to go to ICCC?
Yeah.
It's turned into the thing. Usually I drag my feet for this. With every guest announcement you've been making, I've been buying stuff to get signed.
Oh, nice.
And, like, I've got the Funkos ready to go. And you've been on a prequel kick this year, which is just talking to me on a personal level.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, I've been on a lot of podcasts, and most of the times you guys are always going, why don't you get more people from the prequels? So I've been trying very much. But I also want to get you the ones that are impossible, man. Like Tan Wee hasn't signed in 15 years. Yeah, and it's because, do you know how hard it is to get somebody from New Zealand if you don't have a Disney like credit card bank account?
Right.
Like,
no,
we were kind of talking about that because
Hunter has a request.
Well, I was sitting here like, man, it would be incredibly cool to meet Michelle Ang, who's like Omega from the Bad Batch.
Yeah,
because she's like a voice actor and she's also from New Zealand.
She's a hard one too because she's New Zealand. It's a very expensive ticket.
Yeah. I'd imagine.
Look, we hear you, and just name your price, man. Just
I'll look into it. I'll send you a PM. I'll find out what it'll cost, and I'll send you a PM. You guys can do a bake sale or something.
Right. This Funko on the shelf right there is an Omega that I've had for 4 years, waiting to get a scribble put on it.
Oh, nice.
But the wicked, insane, funny one for us was when you announced Watto.
Yeah. Well, he's another hard one because he's from, I think, Scotland or England or something.
But so, you know, I got the Funko as soon as I could. I was like, you know, we got to do it. And Watto, is just one of those funny prequel meme characters where, again, on these Xbox parties all the time,
Oh my
someone
god!
will inevitably do an impression, you know.
Oh yeah.
I'm a
And
Toydarian. Just anything, yeah.
what do you think you are? Some Jedi waving your hand around like that? And it just someone does it every night. And I've got this like I just this funny little like personal plan where for the autograph I'm gonna pick my 2 favorite Watto quotes and I'm gonna have them written on a piece of paper and one labeled red and one labeled blue. And I've got my Galaxy's Edge chance cubes.
Oh, nice.
And I'm gonna have him roll for which one he puts on. I hope he'll
Nice.
Hopefully it's not just that he's there to make his money on the scribbles, because I think it'd be.
No, dude. He's actually a really nice guy.
I've
Yeah.
seen some interviews where people have talked to him at the tables at cons.
Yeah, no, I've talked to him a couple times, and he's super nice.
So, but we are incredibly excited. I mean, just the guests have just been popping for us.
Well, we got to give you a guest star, right?
Yeah,
I said I was gonna. I did a graphic here. Let me put it up so everybody doesn't freak out. But
yeah,
and then you can go to the link. I'll tell you what. Do you have the ability to put up a web page there?
Yeah. Can you send it to me on?
Just go to the icnashville.com.
Yeah.
And then click on news. But I will tell you as soon as I post it, and then click on news.
Oh man, we got some cutting
We'll
edge.
do it right now.
Man, a live update to the website.
Live.
Yeah, I'm literally doing it right here.
So.
Settings. Turn it from draft into published. Back. Check mark. And I forgot to put an image there, so... All right, I'm going to have to fix that when I get off the phone with you, but you'll still be able to click on it. So go there to news, hit refresh. It should be at the very top with no picture, but when you click on it, it will have a picture.
Oh, yeah. Let me zoom it out a little bit. It's just a little bit big.
Yeah, no worries. Oh, that's another thing. I have to put in 2 spacers on that webpage. If you hit refresh in an hour, it'll look properly, but now you get to see it. So,
all right. We got Warwick Davis.
Mr. Warwick Davis is making the trek back. He had such a wonderful time last year that he actually left me with all his like exclusive photos and 8x10s and everything, so he could come back this year.
Awesome.
So yeah, there's like, I have like $1 bazillion of Warwick Davis photos, but he loved it. And, we're super excited to have him because he just got a BAFTA award. So he's still doing really big things, man. So it's very, very exciting. So there you go. There's a big guest star for you, but he's been in everything. And yeah, Warwick Davis will be on site this year, and he'll be signing autographs, taking photos, and also doing questions and answers. So like panels.
So my mom here, who is making the trek, I'm gonna be honest. I told her when you told me, but I had her sign a non-disclosure.
There you go.
A couple years back, as a Christmas present to her, because she was right in the era. She had Wicket plushies and stuff as a kid.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, she has loved Wicket since she was little. And as a Christmas present to her a couple of years back, I got her this Wicket Funko Pop, and I pre-purchased an autograph and a photo op to meet him at Lexington Comic-Con.
All right.
And the week before the Comic-Con, the COVID shutdown happened.
Oh, no. Yeah.
And he has not been anywhere reachable for us since. And last year just didn't work for bringing her to Nashville. So well,
there you go. See, I did it just for mom. That was the point.
So yeah, you did this one just for my mom. That's what it was.
I love it, dude.
So
I'm always happy to whatever I can do for a mom. Moms are awesome.
She's pretty okay. I like her. So, but yeah, I picked up one for myself. We're gonna go through that line together, and
nice.
And you can stop now. I'm getting like 5 autographs from you. We're cool. We're good. So,
dude, I'm not even close to the end.
Not even.
Sorry.
I mean, if you're running out of time, we can double dip. But
oh no! I have to. There's a big long thing. Jeez, do you know what the next blog post looks like? If that one is not spaced right, and Missing a picture. Like, I'm not there yet, man. I'm still building other stuff. We just got out a bunch of the club table approvals just went out.
Yeah,
So that was a bunch of work.
Get some posts for that. So
yeah, and next up is going to be press approvals. So start looking for those in the next couple weeks. Yeah, so
best buddy status. So I'm hoping for some good news.
Well, the good thing is usually when people have me on or something, because the way it works with Press Pads is we have a team that looks into all the emails and stuff that comes through. And then we go to the web pages and the YouTubes and stuff like that. We see if you talk about toys, talk about sci-fi, because people try to get free tickets. Sometimes like the podcasts that apply are like cooking with Janet, and it's it's like, Janet, you don't deserve a free ticket, but congratulations on the meatloaf. You know what I mean? It's
a good meatloaf.
So we have them checked. So when they get to things and they see that I'm on your podcast or you guys are talking about ICCC as much as you do, yeah, you do. It does count a lot.
All right.
So yeah, I had one guy that wrote me last year and he's like, this podcast has 1,500 less followers than me. How did they get a badge and I didn't? And I went to his podcast and I said, is this the proper podcast? And I sent him the link to the YouTube and stuff like that. And he goes, yes. And I was like, well, you have absolutely no mention of action figures, anything sci-fi, anything Star Wars, whatever. He had a podcast for like fixing things on cars.
Oh.
And it's like, bro, I don't care if you have 40 million followers. If it's like how to change a transmission on a 1972 Chevy is not going to come up at ICCC Con.
Right. Yeah.
Tell me how to restore a Kenner Millennium Falcon, and
like come on down. You could be the next contestant on the trivia contest. But
yeah.
So that's kind of what we really look for, because we want to give opportunities, because it gives you guys content, it gives you guys access, it gives you guys time to network with other podcasters. Because here's the thing, we really appreciate the podcasters and what they do, because when it is COVID, there's nothing else but podcasters to keep us alive. When it's a lull between seasons of Mandalorian, there's the podcasters to keep us going. And so I really appreciate the heck out of what you guys do. So I'm always like, you just announced that brand new podcast today. That's a legit subscribe from the ICCC account. Yeah. I mean, I want to support what's going on, because the new people that come in and grow this hobby are the most important people to me. So yeah, we have teams really look into it, and you guys, please don't worry about it.
Right.
You're like, yeah, ICCC, come on, Mike, and blah, blah, blah. Look at these toys.
We appreciate
it's literally called Hybrid Toy Reviews, and you got half of Rebel insignia on there. I mean, you look legit for what we're looking for. Yeah. You'll be fine.
we love the show. We're not just coming for the free tickets. If you said no more of that, I'd buy a ticket. And
that's awesome. I appreciate it, brother.
And I'm big on the next generation too. Tomorrow I'm going to a local show. It's called Toy Hio. I don't know if you've heard of.
I do know it. Yeah.
It's about a half hour away. It's awesome. Yeah. And so we try to go every time. We even went last time when it was the week after ICCC, and all I had was $40 to play with. But I'm going to call him my cousin. It's like an aunt's friend's kid. But I'm bringing my cousin Garrett, who is like 13 and Black Series obsessed. And,
nice. He'll dig it. Yeah.
I go to my aunt's, and he worships the ground I walk on, because he cannot comprehend the fact of an adult collecting Star Wars toys. Yeah. And that's what he wants to do. And he's just like, I like your YouTube videos, so I started a TikTok channel where I review stuff. And I'm like, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's great.
And I'm like, and it's, we got to keep the next generation interested. And
well, that's the thing. When we're all 75 years old with busted hips, I still want people to play Star Wars with.
Heck yeah.
And when I kick the bucket, I sure as heck want my wife to be able to sell this stuff to somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we need that next generation. Yeah.
I'm going into it calling it the worst investment I've ever made, but at least I had while I was here.
Well, I always say that whenever people are like, "Oh, I waste so much money on toys," I always say, "Listen, most people waste money going to the bar, and I don't care how cheap you are getting your beers. On the back end, you never get any money for those.
Right?
Like it's always coming out one end or the other, and At least, if you quit or you need $5, you could sell a Commander Cody, dude,
Right. You remember Revenge of the Sith, Anakin helps Palpatine knock Mace Windu out the window.
Yeah, of course.
He falls down and he's like, what have I done? That's me after every ICCC, after every story I go. But it's a good feeling kind of too. But I mean,
yeah.
It's just
well, hey man, you know how much eggs are nowadays, so
yeah.
It's you did smart things, because if you think about it, everything you buy does eventually go up if it's toys and stuff like that, and so they are appreciating assets. It's really actually smart to collect toys. So yeah, I know you might get that gut wrench feeling when you're like, oh my goodness, look at what I spent, but I don't know, man. I mean, you never get a keg of beer back. You never get a night out at the club or whatever. Think of all the things that are actual real wastes of money in this world. And so you're being very, very efficient and very adult. And that's why don't pick on yourself, dude. You're doing a great job.
Yeah. We talk in the Black Series collector community a lot. Sometimes there will be talk of Hasbro needs to raise suggested retail price $1. It's been 6 years since they've done it. And all these people grandstand, and it's too expensive to begin with. If it goes up $1, I'm out. And Hasbro will sell a vehicle, a battle droid with a stap, and it's $25 for a figure. So the droid and the stap costs $50, and they think the droid should just be free. And I was like, no, you still got a figure in there. It's $25 for the and it's that they are very nitpicky. It's a very whiny, loud ones in it. But I just see them melting down about the suggestion of a deluxe figure because the guy's bigger and takes more plastic and paint. And I'm just sitting here like, I spent $1,000 on a prototype Chewbacca. We're not the same breed. Some people just aren't, just don't comprehend it. But
I spent $100 on that. It's a 3.5-inch piece of paper from a newspaper from 40 years ago. I have things upstairs, man, that are literal garbage from Argentina. The thing that I'm hunting that is the hardest thing for me to find, they're called Doriana margarine container tops, okay? Doriana margarine, back in the day, released a line of 14 container tops only in Argentina that had Star Wars characters on them.
Okay.
Each one of those container tops, I only have two. I have R2-D2 and Wicket so far. But each one of those container tops runs between $400 to $2,000.
Holy wow.
And they are impossible to find. I have tried my hardest. I know lots of people. I'm a collector, and I only have two. Yeah. So when you start throwing thousands of dollars away on garbage, literal garbage, bro, then you can feel bad about it a little. But even I don't feel bad about it because I love them and I think they're awesome. So whatever, dude. Life's too short, man.
No,
if it brings you happiness, it's worth it.
No, we gotta enjoy it. I mean, that's the.
But you'll get there too, dude. Don't worry. It's like, I need that piece of paper that I know is completely worthless, but I must have it.
No, I've done it. My thing lately has been factory leak figures, where there are people in China that I'm fearful, but odds are what's happening is they're factory workers that are pocketing things before they're getting off the assembly line. And so I just got to review Savage Press from the Clone Wars. A figure that's not out for 3 more months, and I got it for the same price he's gonna be, but he doesn't have any paint on him. But I was able to show people like, look, it's what it's gonna be, but you're gonna get a better one.
Yeah,
and I'm going into it, and I'm like, this is the dumbest video I've ever made, and it popped off. I'm like, Savage Press without paint, who cares? But it's like,
that's awesome. It's a first review, man.
And there's a creator out of California, Landspeeder Luke, and he always goes to this thing called Frankensons, and it's like a direct China importer. So they'll get figures a few weeks before they show up anywhere. And I'm getting comments of, wow, you would do anything to beat Landspeeder Luke to a review. And I was like, yeah, skip the spinning rims, run the clock here.
Yeah. Frankensons is just massive, man. They actually bought a Costco like 5 years ago, and that's what they run it out of now.
Yeah.
Frankensons is bonkers. It's giant.
I
That's
have
crazy.
no desire to go to California, but if I ever accidentally found myself there, I would make it a point to go. So that's no, it would
No,
be,
it's nuts. It's
but yeah, it's I mean, I've seen vlogs where people go and it's insane. I'm trying to
Yeah.
work up the nerve to go to Kokomo Toys. I mean, like we're baby stepping it here.
yeah.
But
No, Kokomo Toys is a nice place, man, for sure.
oh yeah, I've seen them
Yeah.
post forever, and I've been talking with Tommy from Bliss Transmissions. I'm just like, hey, like, why don't we just go? It's like 5 hours away, but why don't we just go? Let's just be stupid one Saturday and spend the entire day in the car. And I think we're gonna do it, but it's
Dude,
probably,
do it and leave early and stop at every single flea market you see on the way.
yeah,
You'll crush
exactly.
it.
Like just make
Yeah,
a
and you'll have a great day.
day.
Yeah.
So
It's like a
yeah,
it's like a 4-hour ride for me too.
yeah, but he won't come
So
and hang out with us. We can't even get this guy. To go to
I said I
ICCC.
wanted to go. I said I wanted to go.
There you
Man.
go.
So, but so I think I've pretty well burned through my list.
Awesome, brother.
I got my guest reveal from you, which is really all this was about.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll pitch the new thing that we're doing. We're doing IC for Life, which is a federally licensed nonprofit charity organization, and it'll ensure that our collectible world continues forever. It allows people to sign up for membership, where if they happen to pass away, then they fill out all these forms and stuff, and their next of kin. What we'll do is we'll come in, we'll get all the stuff, we'll catalog it and everything, and then we will do a sale. And all that money will go to the family, and then the family will give back a tax-deductible donation. We also take donations and stuff like that. We sell them for charity. I had my Celebration VIP tickets this year, and I wasn't able to go just because it's literally a month before my show, and I'm kind of like, really, that's crunch time.
Yeah.
So I sold those. I donated them to the charity, and I sold those, and they sold for a bunch of money, which is great. But that money goes into outreach programs and making the general public more aware of what it is that we have and what we do, so it grows this hobby. And those kind of things will allow eventually for me to retire someday, or if I pass away or something like that, it will be the board of directors that take over the jobs I do. Because unless this con were to sell out to a corporation, which I will not do, because I'm a hard-headed person and I have real jobs and I don't need their damn money.
Right.
But unless that happens, it needs someone else to take care of it. I mean, the way it works is I kind of walk into the embassy suites and I say, I would like to buy your entire hotel. And what happens is when you say that, they charge you for the entire hotel. And then you just hope and pray people show up. You know what I mean? But somebody needs that credit card or in order to make this thing happen the way it happens. Because see, the thing is all these other cons, they're like, here's a host hotel and here's the discounted rate and blah, 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 blah. But the reason why they would never have room sales anyway, but the reason why they can't is because there's other people staying at that hotel that have like jobs. And they can't get in trouble and stuff like that because everybody's selling toys in the lobby at 2 a.m.
Sure.
You know? So in order to make that happen, you have to buy it all up front. So that's what IC for Life charity will do eventually. And also maybe it'll even be able to eventually build a mid-size or to large convention center. So we have a place where all the different kind of collectors or different kind of shoe conventions or whatever will have a place. Because see, I've been in Nashville for 23 years now. And there is no mid-sized convention center. And now that it has grown so much and become like the vacation destination for every bachelorette party, every giant conglomerate, we're doing the annual meeting for Remax, like all that stuff's here. The NFL draft is here. You know what I mean? Country Music Awards are here. So there are gigantic monster venues that you can rent for $1 bazillion if your name is like Ted Turner. And then there's the Music City Sheridan that is only big enough, you know what I mean? And this place, as wonderful as this place is, it's 60,000 square feet, so it's much bigger, more than twice the size of the Sheridan, but with also rooms that are laid out for a convention. So it's not like here's a pillar or here's a way too tall chandelier because it's for weddings. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that one is great, but I foresee us selling out of that one because see what happened. All right, for example, 2 days ago, I don't know, you guys know Star Wars Theory?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's going to come and he's going to start talking about the con and stuff like that too, because he's heard about it and it's starting to grow there. So we're on a trajectory. Oh yeah, he'll be there. Yeah.
Okay.
He's actually a really cool freaking dude, man. And we really got into talking about like toys and stuff. And once he found out that like I'm legit and it's legit, he's like, dude, I want to come. So yeah, he'll be there. They'll be selling their lightsabers and stuff too. And but the trajectory for growth every single year, it becomes bigger and bigger, and the people that hear about it end up having larger and larger audiences, which in turn makes it larger and larger. So I figure that this venue is probably going to last us another 2 to 2.5, 3 years before we have to look again. Because as you said, I don't want people just jammed on top of each other. You know what I mean? And I don't care. Yeah, I don't care if I got to buy a field and put a 200,000 square foot building on it to make this convention continue to grow forever. You know what I mean? So
No, and that's we love that about you, where it's
thanks, brother.
If there's something you can improve, you do it.
Yeah. And also anytime people come to us and they go, oh, I really don't like this, or this is a problem, or maybe this could be done this way and it would be better, we actually listen every single time. And we don't always say yes because sometimes it's not feasible. You know what I mean?
Right.
As much as I would like every line for autographs to take 3 minutes, that's not really that feasible.
Yeah.
So we still listen though, and like people were they'll be like, oh well, it would be nice if you can do this, or like little suggestions that drive them nuts at other conventions, that we listen and we change. Like I remember people the first year, because we had the ticketing thing that you're talking about the first year, where you had to buy your ticket and you had to buy your thing, and the reason why we did it is so we could keep track, because we had such high guarantees, and it was our first year. We wanted to make sure we met them, which we didn't. And if you ever need $35,000 worth of William Shatner autographs in addition to the hand sanitizers, I'm your guy. But we've grown so much, and we listen to stuff like that. And so when they say, this was great, if we could do more of this, more clubs, more cosplay, if we can make the table game room bigger, you guys with your podcast, oh, you know what, the podcast room is awesome. If we can maybe make it a little bit bigger, it would be better. So now the podcast room is double the size. You know what I mean? Like, we really try to listen, because it's important. The whole reason why this started is because the giant corporations weren't listening to fans like me. And it ticked me off, and it should be something beautiful. It should be something wonderful, and it should be something magical. And, back in the day at Disney World, if you had dropped a cigarette butt on the ground, Mickey Mouse would pop out of a rock and grab the cigarette butt and be gone.
Right.
And it's the people sometimes don't have as much love for it nowadays that they used to. And the reason why is because it's so corporate-y. You know what I mean? And these people that run ICCC, or that staff ICCC, or that volunteer for ICCC, or that attend ICCC, or attend at ICCC, are all actual real fans. And that's what makes this experience, as you said, to quote Hybrid Toy Reviews, which I will quote in the future because it's a wonderful quote, the best convention ever.
Hey. Put that in the little gold text at the bottom of the trailer.
I love it, dude. That makes me feel great. Because see, the thing is doing my part of the job, I have no idea, because people tend to like not want to yell at you in your face if you're me. So, right. But they also, when they shoot me straight, and they do, it's so refreshing to hear, because I can't tell.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to eat a sandwich in a bathroom closet or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that's my experience of ICC.
No, ask Hunter, and I'll always say, if things are good, I'll say they're good. If I got a problem, I'll bitch about it.
Nice.
I'll put it out there. Not to be a jerk, But like if there's
Huh.
if I don't like something about my figure, I'm tagging Hasbro on Instagram.
That means a ton, man.
So if I
Because
had
that's really what we're going for. And we work so hard, man. All my volunteers and all my staff and everything, they fly here from all over the country every single year.
right,
And they give their time and their effort and their treasure to make this thing happen. So to hear things like this and for them to get to see things like this, it makes it worth it. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Like you should never be, credited for volunteering or donating or whatever. But when you are, it just feels so nice, man. And we work so hard. So I just love that you guys see it. It really is special.
You do amazing work on it. And
thanks, brother. Thank you.
Just every year, and we've only been twice, so maybe you'll break the trend. Although I think you're gonna do good. But every year it's been better and better. And I sometimes I'll get to talking to people, and hey, we like this con, and oh, I've been there before, and it's great, and so I mean, like it's not unknown. Like it is this known thing, I mean, the Black Series community is taken off with it, and obviously started as a vintage group, and so I'm sure everyone that collects vintage knows of it. And it's I mean, it's just things don't blow up if they're not good, or I guess it can, but not in a good reason.
Yeah,
so
sure enough.
I mean, it's hate sells. But no, I mean, you guys just run. I mean, like I said, just out of all of them I go to, it's the best one. And
thank you so much.
And that's
why we're starting the IC for Life charity. Check it out. IC, the number 4, ICforlifecharity.org. And you can see what we're trying to do, because we're trying to make sure it continues to grow with us forever. So even if there are 100,000 people a year, you guys will not lose that experience.
I think there was a conversation once between me and Hunter where something got said, like, if anything ever were to happen to me, can you guys help my dad figure out what to do with?
I'm pretty sure you, me, and Tommy talked about.
Yeah, we made like a pact.
We gotta put each other in each other's wills to be like, my parents ain't gonna have any idea what to do with my stuff if I get in a car accident and I'm gone.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna need to be a collector that knows what they're doing.
Well, see, that's where it happens. Folks, they pass away, and then they write me because I'm running so many Facebook groups and stuff, and they say, oh, my husband passed away. What do I do with his collection? And it used to be like, well, you could try to figure out how to sell it, or I can try to help you identify some of it. But these collections we have, I mean, it is like a lot of work.
Yeah. My living room is disgusting. It's 7 Detolfs packed full of Black Series, and then there's stuff all over the place. I mean,
but the thing is somebody that doesn't have the knowledge is going to put that Chewbacca up for $20.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't
and list it wrong with the wrong information on eBay, and it's going to sell for 45, and you're going to be up there in heaven looking down, being like, no.
Right. That's how I come back as a ghost and start shit. And you don't want that. So
then you'll be screaming in the corner as a ghost, being like, no.
Right.
You got to figure out how to move stuff, man. That'll be what you have to do.
Right, all the cabinets shatter.
Yeah.
All the doors open.
I was actually going to ask you before, Michael. When you were talking about IC for Life and like handling like people's collections or trying to help people sell their collections, how do people go about doing that? Is that like a special table at ICCCon or something?
No, actually, if they go to the website IC for Life Charity with the number 4, ICforlifecharity.org. If they go there, you can sign up for the membership. It's $20 a month, and what happens is all that money goes directly to IC for Life, so it helps out with the charity. And it gives you a thing, so you fill out who your next of kin is, what their email address is, phone number, stuff like that. After you pass, we'd wait like a week or until after it's happened, and then we tell your next of kin that they set up something, so it's all going to be taken care of, and we show them the process and everything like that. And then because of the large network we have with the Imperial Commissary, we'll send people to their house to professionally package it up safely so it doesn't get damaged and thrown in a bin, and then we all bring it to, right now it's my wife's warehouse for the toy store. We have a section in the back with tables. We had it happen with the first person so far. It was in Florida. And so we'll have a sample. And I told her beforehand, I was like, you're going to be my guinea pig because I'm trying to figure out all these different things and blah, 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 blah. But what we do is we picked it up when we were in Florida, brought it back. It's all in there. And now we're going through it. And we're picking out the exceptional items that need to be graded because we want to get the most money for the family as possible.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
So we're picking out the special things that need to be graded or are high enough quality because we have the people to tell you if it's going to get an 80 when it goes in for grading. You know what I mean? So we look at all that, we sort all that, we get them a doc, and we also put it into. I'm actually purchasing a auction house program. It's just like Hakes and LCG auctions and all the auction houses online, except we do it for a nonprofit. And that auction house will also be able to sell donated items. And then instead of there being a buyer's premium that goes to the auction house, the buyer's premium goes to IC for Life charity.
Right.
So that's how the charity keeps increasing its money, but it also doesn't cost the family anything. And then at the end, the family gives a 20% donation of the total to IC for Life charity, which they get a 100% tax deductible donation receipt for. So it helps them on their taxes. So what we're doing is we're selling the stuff for way more than they could ever get without the knowledge. We're grading stuff so it gets them even more. And then because it's going to give them so much income in a year, we give them a massive tax deduction so they don't get creamed on their taxes. So that's why it really is the perfect system that'll get the absolute most money. And I mean by like 30, 40, 50% more to the actual family of the collector. So that's the main reason for it. And that's what we're doing. And that will in turn go into, like, we do the IC Roadshow where we travel around and we do appraisals and stuff like that. We do the ICCC. We do IC for Life now. And on IC for Life, if you go into the programs on the website, you'll see some other things we want to do. And we want to make a museum for collectibles so people understand how they started, where they came from. Because these wonderful stories, I mean, you know, the guys because I'm a vintage Star Wars collector, the Kenner people, they're getting older, you know what I mean? And they're going away. And those stories, in order for them to last, like one of my favorite stories, Jim Swearingen comes every year because we're buddies. And one of my favorite stories is there would be no Star Wars toys at all if Jim Swearingen did not literally fish the script out of Bernie Loomis's garbage can at Kenner. It got thrown out by Kenner like it did by everybody else. They tried everybody that had a toy line. And it got thrown in the garbage. Jim Swearingen was a sci-fi nerd. And he was like, you mind if I read it? I love sci-fi. And he read it, and he walked in the next day to the CEO of Kenner, put that thing on his desk and said, we have to make a toy line for these. This is the best story I've ever written. It's going to be bigger than anything ever. And that is the whole reason why Star Wars toys even exist. But most people don't know that. Most people don't know that they changed the entire, and as much as it's annoying nowadays, but they changed the entire way toys were marketed. Before the Kenner Star Wars toy line, no one pre-sold anything.
Right.
They made this sheet, the early bird certificate, because they couldn't get them out by Christmas, where you filled it out and they would send you an early bird package with the R2-D2, Princess Leia, Chewbacca, and Luke Skywalker. The thing is they were literally the first person ever to put it in store and to sell a piece of paper that said, someday later you'll get your stuff, we promise.
You'll get a toy someday out of it.
But that's the way everything is now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they were the first ones to do on the back, on the card back, the collect them all, where they would write collect them all and then put all the figures. That's genius, because every one of us had a checklist. You know what I mean? And we still do. So many things came out of the Star Wars toy line that even don't involve Star Wars. Unbelievable marketing changes and business changes. And people, man, the only kind of museums that are out there right now are people who do not want to get rid of their collections and want to have a museum section that says the name of their collection. Like, this collection by blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, if you want to like take all your stuff with you, you can't, you know, like that's not the history of this thing, that XYZ person collected all this stuff. what the
Right.
history of it is, all these different stories, and even the stories that you guys tell about the meetups and about the when you found that Chewbacca, those kind of things, and those need a place. And I figure if we could put a museum in front of a gigantic convention center that we don't rob people to rent, in front of, I don't know, I was thinking, I've got this crazy idea. Have you seen those container houses on Alibaba?
Yeah, the pop-up
Okay.
house.
So I was thinking
Oh,
of
yeah,
putting like 500 to 700 of them around a giant convention center. So we'd all have like our own suites
Okay,
that we can go around like our own little Tatooine or whatever.
right.
And that could be the convention center for all different types of things. You love Ninja Turtles, man? We can rent it out for a Ninja Turtle only convention. We can rent it out for a sneaker convention. We can rent it out for a guitar collector convention. Because no matter what you collect, we all have that same baseline. You know what I mean? Where we just do not have a place to hang out with all our friends. And that's what
Right.
ICCC is, and that's what I See for Life will continue to grow. And hopefully it'll grow so big that it'll last for 1,000,000 years after me. And this wonderful thing that, man, we all look forward to. What kind of games you play on Xbox, by the way? We all look forward to. It can happen every year. But what kind of game you play on Xbox?
There's a
Oh.
lot of like Star Wars Battlefront, like Battlefront.
Okay.
2. It's
Dude, Halo.
See, I'm
like
Halo.
I'm a Call of Dutyer, so
Oh,
I would have come on there and stomped you guys one night if you wanted, but
Hey, no, there's some Halo. There's a lot of Minecraft lately.
Tommy and his little brother play Call of Duty.
Yeah,
They
nice.
play
You
like
know what?
crazy.
I got hung up on my childhood Call of Duties. I'm still wishing for something as
Dude,
good.
Rainbow Six Vegas was one of the best games ever. You remember that one?
Oh, I
Yeah.
got it on my Xbox right now.
Dude, what a
Yep.
good game, man.
But
Yeah,
I gotta
no, it was
tell you-
funny because I'm older than you guys, obviously, but I was doing all the I played Call of Duty like really high level, and it ended up being when what would happen? Oh, it was a good story. Shoot, and I've lost it. Oh, what happened is Fortnite came out. And everybody, all the young kids were like, "Oh, I love Fortnite, and Fortnite's awesome." Blah blah blah. But the thing is I play Fortnite exactly like you would play Call of Duty on like ultra hard on Elite.
Yep.
So I crushed Fortnite, man, which is crazy because I shouldn't. But I've never built a wall. I just play it like Call of Duty.
you
And the
just
thing is,
out there to make the kids cry.
and dude, it's hilarious because I have nieces and nephews, and I'm like the old uncle, you know. And I'll roll in, sit down on their console, and beat everybody. Like they're like, he's the best at or whatever the heck it is, Far Cry, not Far Cry. What is it? What at Fortnite? Gee whiz!
Yeah.
I've been on this thing too long. I gotta go eat dinner. I love you guys. What's that?
No, that's where I'm at. Is I don't know that kids are for me, but man, I'm gonna be the one teaching my nieces and nephews all the swear words and stuff. And how to play cool games.
Yeah.
It's gonna be my role.
Better not be teaching my kids that one day.
So, well,
Just
you have
stick to variants. Just stick to variants with his kids.
I do gotta say before we go, Michael, like I love what you said about the IC for Life. I'm signing up for that tonight.
Yeah,
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, and just fill out all the stuff. And honestly, it's completely passive until God forbid something happens.
Yeah.
And then we just call whoever you want to put as your next of kin, and we take care of it all.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, it's an awesome idea. And like you said, I mean,
Thanks.
It's one of those things where who would ever think of how many people that don't even have a will or something, I mean, it's just so many.
Dude, think of how many people that collect and aren't like hanging out with buddies that they can trust their collections to.
I'm regularly told by people like, you should get an insurance policy on your collection. I'm like, you know what? I probably
I'm gonna be doing
should.
that too. Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
And it's just the stuff that you don't think about. But
yeah. Well, when you get a house, just you put that umbrella policy on it or whatever. And what is it?
Right.
Something goods. I forgot what it's called. But then you can do it. And the way I do it is I go through my collection once every 2 months and I do a video. And then I send the video to my wife and to my mom. So it's in 2 different directions. And then that's it.
Well, that's what Tommy does. He does a monthly little like TikTok of like the collection room.
Yeah.
And so that's there we go. Tommy's doing something accidentally good.
Yeah.
So but, yeah, I guess we've probably kept you enough. I know you're getting ready for dinner.
Yeah, no worries. I can smell it cooking in there. I'm actually psyched, man.
There you go.
It's some kind of meat flavor or something. I can smell it. It's definitely not an acai bowl.
Right. Whatever that is.
It ain't
I
a
don't
bad
even know,
orange.
man. I still
Ain't a
haven't
bad-
Googled it.
I think it's like berries and yogurt or something. And I'm like,
No way. I thought it was for like lunch or dinner. Do people eat berries and yogurt for dinner? I don't know.
I mean, it sounds like a nice breakfast, but
Yeah, you know, with a little bit of granola in there, that sounds good. Yeah.
But yeah. So thank you very much, Michael.
Oh, there you
Thanks,
go.
guys. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for talking about ICCC. Thanks for inviting your friends. And thank you so much for creating content in the Star Wars world. It's the most important thing. And I always say, to be a great member of the IC, you got to teach, you got to learn, and you got to grow the hobby. And you guys do all three of those things. So I appreciate the heck out of you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the outlet, just the way to get together. And I'll interrupt your solace when I see you this time.
Yeah, definitely do it, man.
So
do it.
But
all right, brother. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you immensely.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night. Thank you.
Well, now that guy's gone. So
nice.
He is such a nice guy. And
oh yeah.
I always love talking with Michael. And
I can't believe we held him for 2 hours, man.
I figured it was probably about what we were gonna do, but yeah, we had a good little yap there. I like a good little yap. So apologies to chat when you're talking with Michael, you're talking with Michael, and so we haven't super kept up on the chat. I didn't see any super chats or anything, so I didn't super pull away. I tried to bring up a few as we could.
I was trying to bait the super chats.
Yeah, trying to bait the super chats. I mean, at least then I'd see something big and green over there and it'd draw the eye. But we have Commander Bly stating the obvious. So, but yep, let's talk shit on Michael now. So,
guys, he's gone. We can talk.
But for real, Michael runs the best con that I have ever been to, and I've been to a lot. And I can't picture what kind of basement dwelling degenerate from a neighboring state wouldn't go to ICCC. So, bruh. Am I calling someone out? Doug, I was talking out my rear. Thank you. So, but thank you, Doug. Always, forever, the skibbity yonk.
Dude, we need to see a Doug collection tour video. I see the pictures on MNF emails, but like, dude, I feel like the pictures don't do it justice. There's so many levels to that.
So Doug, did I see? I'm not scrolling through the entire chat. There's too much that's happened. Did I see somewhere in there you're doing ICCC? So, because
I believe on the last MNF stream he said that he was really considering it because Fig said something. Fig said something that he might swing down from Idaho and pick him up.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that you saying he might be able to carpool with you. Hey, carpool into ICCC is the way to go. Oh, come on, guys. All right. Starting the dono train. Thank you, Cook.
Guys, he's turning red. Keep going.
He's just giving me the dollars back from that shirt that I ordered earlier today.
Oh man.
But okay, Doug wants to go and is working on the logistics. Okay. I mean, that's cool. Like come hang out. You'll get I'll give you a Hybrid Toy Review sticker. You want a Hybrid Toy Review sticker? Everyone wants a Hybrid Toy Review sticker. So I actually have ordered some special stickers that I'm debuting at ICCC.
Oh.
We got Bly with the dono train. All right. I guess this is a thing now. That's cool. So shade on my boys. But we have here, Doodles will like this. So okay, the acai bowl is a type of berry. But Doodles drew for me the Ood graphic for whenever I'm like 10 minutes into a recording and he decides he needs to stand next to me and scream something at me. Usually it's swears. But it's the little graphic of him with the clapper board, and it's the director commentary thing. And Michael was talking about people making special merch to give out at ICCC. He's seen creators do that. So I ordered a limited batch of stickers of him with the clapperboard. Sandy, I'm going to make sure that you get a couple. And even though he's not going, I'll probably try to get one to Hunter. But there's going to be a limited batch of Ood stickers at ICCC for anyone that wants an Ood sticker. So my mom loves the graphic. She does. So it's a great graphic. So I got them all shiny and foil too. I was like, yeah, that's the move. So, but yeah,
You're gonna have to try and get pins made next, because that's the ICC thing, is handing out pins, dude.
I guess, yeah, maybe I ought to get a little batch of buttons. That might be the move. I have my. See if I can get it off the board.
Get some Ood pins.
I have my Red Wagon Dio's ICCC button. I mean,
Nice.
So that might be the move. Get a little batch of buttons made. I could do that.
Oh man, Doug, I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Yeah, Doug, that's a rough 8 months. So, but you know what would cheer you up? No. But no, I mean it's definitely a bad stroke, but you would definitely have a fun time if you could make it happen. But I'm sorry you're going through rough times right now. But yeah, ICCC would cheer you up. So, but no, I mean it's our hangout. I mean it's it's weird. I mean, like, we talk to Nate and Justin sometimes, we talk to Zach, like and there's communication. I could send a DM to anyone anytime and have a conversation, but like, it's different when you get them in person, it's like everyone's just happy to we always go and get barbecue at Papa Turney's barbecue, and the entire group always shows up for it, and man, we're just a big mob of nerds walking around this show floor. And it I mean,
dude, honestly, there's so many of us that you feel bad when you run into so many people on the vendor floor, because you just hog up the vendor floor.
Oh yeah,
like,
we pick a corner and we fill it.
Yeah, it's like there's so many of us that all know and recognize each other that when all of a sudden we run into each other, it's like, oh no, all of a sudden we're blocking the whole aisle. We gotta
we're those people
split up. Yeah.
But no, it's insane. And it's and we're not elitists or anything. Like, if you see us at ICCC, like, come say hi. You become part of the group when you say hi. Like, it's not a snobby behind the scenes anything, and it's just a good time. It is like the show to go to if you have never been to a Comic-Con, or if you're in a position where you can only go to one for the year or something. Like, this is the one. You might find better autographs to get at, like, GalaxyCon or something. But Sam's, our guest announcement was Warwick Davis. So Warwick Davis is actually coming back. He was there last year, and apparently he had a really fun time. I didn't tell Michael about Ewok praying Warwick Davis.
Oh.
I'll tell him about it in person. We'll reenact it in front of, like, Warwick again. So,
he was super cool last year. You didn't get to meet him, but I did.
No, well, so my thing, because I told the story about how my mom and I were supposed to meet him at Lexington.
Yep.
And so there was a part of me that was like, oh, Warwick's here. I finally get to meet him. And then I was like, I'm going to wait until I can meet him with my mom. Like,
yep, that's cool.
And so now apparently my mom wants to go to ICCC. Apparently I've swayed her. But we're going to go. And I finally got myself a Wicket Pop, and this one I bought for years ago to get signed. So we're going to.
I didn't realize they had two different ones, huh?
Yeah, this one was just like a main line a while back. It looks good, but this one was like a Comic-Con, like 23.
They look drastically different. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, totally different posing, and I think they've changed things, a style every couple of years.
Yeah.
But What does chat think? Orange paint pen? I think orange paint pen. I think it'll pop from the browns.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we're gonna finally get our Warwick Davis autograph that are years overdue. Yeah, 5 days without Dad is gonna be epic. Apparently, we're taking his car. He didn't seem happy about that, but we're taking his car. And yeah, it's just gonna be a good time. I mean, that's.
I know last year when I met Warwick, you know, like how you always try to like come up with some sort of question you want to ask him, and it's not just like, how did you like being in Star Wars? You know,
You don't just want to go and be like, I like Star Wars.
I had a good conversation with him, just asking him how he enjoyed the convention, because I knew that ICC Con, you know, Michael treats him different than, you know, other conventions would, and like he was telling me that he loved it, and obviously he did because he's coming back.
Apparently, yeah, which is weird because there was this gaggle of weird people praying at him in the lobby.
Right? Yeah.
But Cook's a little sad that Hunter, Bly, and Cheesy
Bro.
won't be there, but at least the Airbnb has a basketball goal.
Dude, I ain't gonna lie. The most wild thing about that to me is that he calls it a basketball goal, dude.
Right?
I've never called it a goal in my life.
Yeah, we call water fountains.
I call it,
so maybe
dude. I
you're
call it a hoop or a basket, man.
right. No, I'm amped.
Oh,
I think that's gonna lead to a lot of fun. The Airbnb is gonna have a pool. We're gonna make some YouTuber soup, and it's gonna be a good time. And the Airbnb will have enchiladas. I'm pimping out my mom's cooking skills.
nice.
So I told her, I was like, you can go, but you know, to the kitchens. So
Great.
no, but it makes really good enchiladas. So I was like, yeah, we gotta show off the abilities here. So
Just don't decide to grill 26 brats in one night.
yeah, I don't think we're gonna try and have a big party. Well, we tried to do that after everyone had been drinking for a few days. Like no one was doing anything at that point. But yeah, no, I think we're gonna probably do it the first night, just the gang, and I think it'll be a good time. No, it's gonna be awesome. This has me even more excited for ICCC than even before. So, but
I'm glad that Michael, with the new venue, it sounds like the future for ICC Con is just going to be great.
yeah, I alluded to it. I wasn't gonna say, but there was we because our first year was the fairgrounds year, and it was huge. And like he said, it was more space, and he knew what to do with it. But he did a good job of filling it up.
Yep.
And you know, going from that to what there was last year, he did the best he could with what he had. But I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
I remember we got there on the first day, and we walked the vendor floor like 3 times in the first hour, and then I was like, "We're here for 4 days."
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, and again, never to talk down, but it was just like it from our first go to our second go, it was like an insane, not downgrade, but downscale.
Right.
And the room sales is really what saved it this last go around. But then with the hotel doing all this weird, you know, like pay to park stuff, and you know, there was just things that didn't sit super hot with me. And you know, and there was some fun, you know. I mean, like Bly saying, Daryl
Bly's right.
there. Yeah, but
Daryl was there.
Yeah, Daryl isn't 4 days of conversation for me though. Like he's cool, and I could talk to him for a while.
I talked to him for 2 days, dude.
Yeah. No, I mean, I swung through a few times and chatted with him, but he, you know, I mean, it was just like I'm excited to see, like as for some in the group, you know, 2024 was their first one, and so like for Tommy, it's gonna be nuts. Like he's, you know, we did the opposite. We went from big to little. He's going from little to big, so it's gonna be really exciting to see how it goes.
And I know, like, you know, we asked Michael, but I can't imagine, like, the calls he was getting of people that wanted to go to, like, vendors that wanted to be at the convention last year, and he had to turn them down. Like, man, that probably was not fun.
Well, yeah, I mean, it feels like money walking out the door, where.
Well, like, those people just, like, genuinely just want to come in and sell their stuff, and, like, there's nothing, wrong with them. Like, it's
Right.
not like it's bad history or issues or anything. It's just there's no room.
Right, just
So it's
physically cannot fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting seeing the behind the scenes, just because and like I go to so many cons, and the people that run any of the fan expos wouldn't be caught dead talking to me. And
Oh yeah.
I mean, and like he said, it's that big corporation. I mean, there's no one to talk to. There's no face to the companies, and then Michael, one of my favorite things last year was on opening day. Michael was out there in line with everyone, and everyone shook his hand on the way in the door on opening day.
That was super cool. Yeah.
And that just doesn't happen anywhere else. That is a classy, classy move. And I mean, I'm hooked on this show. It's a great show, and it's a show that I'm gonna it's probably gonna be like a for life show. Like it's gonna.
Oh yeah.
It's on my radar forever now. But
agreed.
Well, I was on Crockpot after he took a dive with the ship. I was thinking about telling Michael the story, but to an outsider, it might not be that fun a story. So
it'd be like, dang, y'all just laughed at Unk breaking his knee.
Unk, come on. I'm sorry. He just got another notification.
No way, dude.
I'm sorry, Doug. And so, well, Doug, thank you for joining us tonight. And I hope that we entertained you at least. So, and I'm sorry that you're going through it. So,
yeah, that's terrible, Doug.
Yeah, we're sorry, man. So, yeah, that's no fun at all.
I think Cook said it before, but prayers definitely going out to you, Doug.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no. Good luck with that, Doug. And sorry to hear it. But you know what would cheer you up? No, but for real, I mean, handle what you got to handle, and if ICCC works, you have a gang to hang out with. So, but I think from here, I mean, I can just keep saying I like ICCC over and over again, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Yep.
So I think we're probably gonna throw in the towel. It's late, and I need second dinner. And I think we're good. So anything to add?
I think I'm good.
So thank you everyone for hanging out with us, listening to us yap. As always, thank you to Michael for always being eager to talk and spilling the beans and telling us all about running a Comic-Con. And I think what I want to do is I want to put together a really comprehensive question list about, you're starting a new Comic-Con. What's step one? Like walk through the process. And I think I want to try and get him on sometime after like this next ICCC, and when he's kind of in that cool down period. And, to make it a little less ICCC specific and more like for the convention goers. I think it might be a fun video. But, I agree. So, but we can't all be as cool as me. So, but thank you again, everyone. It's been fun. Prayers to Doug, and we're gonna go start that Xbox party probably. So, we'll see y'all next time. So, bye.